Come here. Stay down. This rock will get you, werewolf. I'm gonna get another rock, werewolf. Here you go. Ha! Ha! I'm gonna get this brick, werewolf. I'm gonna get this brick. Ha! Nothing seems to stop you. Why? Oh no, the sign of the cross. Come here.
That was greatness. That was greatness. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the following program. I am your host, Joe Nierman, aka Good Logic. Excuse me. I hope that your day. I feel like I'm dealing with a cough. Can you hear it? It's like it just doesn't want to. The frog doesn't want to come out. No, we're gonna muscle through. We're gonna muscle on through because I got a lot to cover with you tonight. I mean, a lot. Okay, what do we got? What do we got tonight? So we got the anti-ice signal chat getting purged, resuscitated, fleeing, run for your lives, crazy run for your lives. Oh my God, they're coming after us. Exposed, and then they brought us what has to be like the greatest television in the world. I'm gonna savor this, and so should you. That is I got a 20-minute vid that you and I are going to be able to heal together, to actually have this was a real anti-ice self-healing call that I am very much looking forward to, because I feel as if my spirit needs an inner cleanse. So I am going to join those anti-ice individuals. Get that cleanse on. That cleanse is getting on. And you're going to be here with me for it, because I think you need a cleanse too. We all need a good cleanse. Don't tell me that you don't need a good cleanse. I don't want to hear you don't need a good cleanse. Everybody needs a good cleanse. So the cleanse is coming, and we're going to enjoy it. Trust me, you are going to enjoy the cleanse. This is not like a colon cleanse. This is this is an inner peace cleanse. It's the best kind of cleanse. It really is, if you think about it. What else I got for you? Oh, yeah. So apparently, Bovino's out. Homan is in. This has some people in an uproar. This has some people like really upset. Other people are like, yeah, it's not so bad. Where do I stand? I'll break it down for you, because I've got my assessments as to what should we do with this information? Isn't Trump seems like he may be dialing back from his Minnesota deportations. He had a phone call with Tim Walz. What's that about? What is unfolding there? And then we have Ilhan Omar. I have there's a whole breakdown that Benny Johnson did, breaking down her fraud. And I actually have a complaint that was filed against her husband in California's Superior Court. Sacramento. I've got a complaint. I'm going to let you know what happened with that. We're going to go through that complaint. I'm going to break down for you exactly the nature of the fraud, because mysteriously, this congresswoman and her husband had a winery which basically went from being worthless to being worth $5 million overnight under some very mysterious circumstances. Very, very mysterious circumstances. And we're going to be looking a little bit at that winery. You and me are going to be looking at that just so we can see how mysterious this is in the ongoing and developing investigations against Ilhan Omar. And then also with Ilhan Omar, she was the victim of an attack by someone who is allegedly MAGA aligned, a physical assault. So we're going to talk about all this stuff tonight and more, and more, and more. I didn't have room to write and more in the description and the title. But there is an and more. Look, I already gave you Dracula versus Werewolf, which is the definitive cinematic work of arguably the 20. Well, it's probably 20th century. It's probably 20. I don't know. It was made in the last 25 years or so or not. I already gave you that. Plus, tonight's goal is this: Legal Eagle, your favorite person to spoof and mine. Legal Eagle has put out a video about Alex Pretti, which I've heard rumors, I've heard tell that he cries. He cries during this video. If we hit our goal, our regular goal tonight, I will go through his entire video with you. What is our goal? What's the goal, Joe? Well, the goal is 15. Don't let me get it straight. I didn't say it. 15 super chats of $10 or more. Doesn't have to be super chats. It can be Rumble Rants. It can be stuff from locals. It can be someone decides, hey, let me Zell Joe some money. I don't care. At the end of the day, we get 15 of those in quantities, $10 or more. We go. We do the Legal Eagle thing. That's tonight's goal. Sometimes we get it. Sometimes we don't. I think that's a good goal. I think that's a good target. That's a pretty good incentive. It's been a while since I broke down a Legal Eagle video. Most people enjoy my assessments of Legal Eagle because I don't really think he's very skilled as an attorney. I think he's much better social media creator than he is as an attorney. So I'm going to be breaking down his legal assessment there, or what purports to be a legal assessment, and then we'll go from there. We're going to go from there. But that's if we hit our goal. Again, 15 super chats or Rumble Rants of $10 or more. And that's the plan for tonight. I told you this and more, right? So should we start with the and more? Yeah, we'll start working our way. We'll start working with some of the and mores toward our main stories. Love you, Joe. When are you and Nick going to do a stream? I look forward to seeing you both. Have a good time. That's a good question. It's been a minute. It's been a minute since I've had Nick on here. I actually felt terrible after I signed off that I did not redirect my chat last night to Nick. I saw Rumble was redirected over to him. My ghetto was sent over to Nick, but I should have redirected YouTube, and I felt stupid and upset at myself that I did not redirect last night's audience. It was a big mistake. So, but I'm going to touch base with him because it's been a minute, and I miss hanging out with him. All right, I get the party start. Thank you, Ed. Thank you so much. Good job getting the party started. It's important. First one in the pool. Thank you. First one in the pool gets major props. So great job, Ed. Great job indeed. All right. So let's start. What was that? That wasn't a sound I wanted to hear. So we saw that earlier in the week you had Pam Bondi sending a demand letter to Tim Walz and Jacob Fry and Keith Ellison, Attorney General from Minnesota. That was followed up by Truth Social posts from Trump along the same lines. Not exactly the same demands, but along the same lines. And Carolyn Levitt yesterday, not today, yesterday, she broke down in greater detail. This is before they had their phone call, I believe. This is actually later did have a phone call. Breaking: Caroline Levitt has outlined President Trump's demand for Tim Walz and Mayor Fry in Minnesota. This is what they were asking for. It's an interesting list of demands.
In Minnesota. Number 1, Governor Walz, Mayor Frey, and all Democrat leaders should turn over all criminal illegal aliens currently incarcerated in their prisons and jails to federal authorities, along with any illegal aliens with active warrants or known criminal histories for immediate deportation.
Now, this is interesting because this is what they were saying just yesterday, and now we're sort of getting a little vibe as to what the expectation is as of today. And I know a lot of people in MAGA are upset, okay? I want to preface our entire discussion tonight with restating something I've said on this show many times before and will continue to be my position. I will not waver on this. Trump's objective needs to be to remove all illegal aliens. That is what his objective needs to be, to remove all illegal aliens. That's what his objective must be. That was the mandate. That's what he told us. I don't want just the ones who have killed 47 people. No. I don't care if they never killed anyone. I don't care if they didn't drink and drive. I don't care if they haven't assaulted children or women or stabbed people. That's not the criteria. The criteria is they're either here legally or they ain't. It's the very simple criteria. And I don't care if it's a really nice person. I don't care if it's someone who's going to make contributions to science or to Wendy's. It doesn't matter. I don't want them. And I think, and I'm not alone. I think that we had 70 million people came out and voted that way. And hey, get rid of them. It's time. Get rid of them. Not just the worst of the worst. No time during his campaign promises did he say, and I'll get rid of the worst illegal aliens. No, that was never a campaign promise. That was never a discussion. That was something that was foisted upon us newly after he was sworn in. All of a sudden, we start hearing about how some illegal aliens are okay. So I'm not okay with the idea of this administration dialing back from that original promise. I don't consider that a success because that sounds like instead of getting rid of 20 million illegal aliens, you're looking to get rid of like 2% of them. Because I wouldn't assume that most of them are violent criminals. So what are you telling me? You tell me that 10 million of them are okay, 15 million of them are okay. It's just we're going to get rid of the worst 5%. That's terrible. That's a terrible goal. That's not a goal. That's not anything. That's like literally nothing. So let's pay close attention to what the messaging is here. And I'm going to talk about the timing of all this and what we might be able to take from it.
Number 2, state and local law enforcement must agree to turn over all illegal aliens who are arrested by local police.
So the two things we have are this. She's saying anyone who's been convicted or charged or anything like that who's an illegal alien, you have to turn them over to us. Number 2, if someone gets charged, you're going to have to turn them over to us. Anyone gets charged with crime, you're going to have to turn them over to us.
And then thirdly, local police must assist federal law enforcement in apprehending and detaining illegal aliens who are wanted for crimes.
Wanted for crimes. So ones who are wanted for crimes. So every person in this category are people who are basically criminals. If not criminals, I mean, I understand in America we say innocent until proven guilty, but people who are either criminal or criminal, we'll refer to someone who's charged with a crime, an illegal alien who's charged with a crime and not yet convicted or tried or even captured as crime adjacent, right? Because we can link them to crime X, Y, Z. So basically we're saying we want your criminals, your illegals are criminals and crime adjacent. That's what we want you to give. That's what we're demanding you turn over to us and you work with us in getting those folks.
Especially violent crimes. If Governor Walz and Mayor Frey implement these common sense cooperative measures that I will add have already been implemented in nearly every single other state across the country, Customs and Border Patrol will not be needed to support ICE on the ground in Minnesota.
So then we won't need CBP there. That doesn't mean ICE is leaving. It means we won't need CBP there. That's what she said. ICE will still be there. You would read into this. ICE will still be there. But we won't need Customs and Border Patrol.
ICE and local law enforcement can peacefully work together, as they are effectively doing in so many other states and jurisdictions. Additionally, President Trump is calling on the United States Congress to immediately pass legislation ending sanctuary cities once and for all.
Okay, so she's calling on them to do that, but that doesn't mean anything's going to happen because it likely won't.
American cities should be safe sanctuaries for law-abiding citizens only, not for dangerous illegal alien criminals who broke our nation's laws and do not belong here. We hope Governor Walz will do the right thing and continue to work with President Trump to keep the American people safe following their call this morning.
Okay, so that was the messaging. That was the messaging. People voted for cheaper groceries. That's true too. Mass deportation isn't popular with most people, despite what you or I may want. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm not going to shoot you. I just think you're mistaken. I think you're mistaken. I think people do want cheaper groceries. That is true. That is true. I think that mass deportation would lead towards cheaper groceries, despite the claims precisely to the contrary. And I also think that people want both. People want both. It should not be in 2024 when things were out of control in both these arenas, both with respect to illegal aliens and with respect to inflation. This was the number one topic: illegal aliens. Like even in places like Massachusetts. Now back then, you would hear about this crime or that crime, and this poor butchered girl or another one, and that sort of stokes the fire. That's reality. The fire for illegal aliens is going to roar sometimes, and unfortunately, and it'll die down at other times. What makes it roar? What makes it roar is an American girl getting killed by an illegal. What makes it die down is ICE killing an American. It's really that simple. It's really that simple. So yeah, you're right that right now this is less popular because the last two have been ICE killing an American. And I'm certainly not I'm certainly not rooting for an American to die, whether that's at the hands of ICE or an illegal alien. But that's just the reality as far as worrying what people are thinking or feeling in any given month. It's foolish. It's a foolish way. You cannot run a country based on what do people feel like this month. They like vanilla or they want steak. It's like you can't be sitting there worrying about what people want. You have to be worrying about the health of the country. You have to be above that. A real leader isn't sitting there saying, well, what do people want? You can try and sell your vision to the public. You can try and convince them that what you're doing is healthiest for them in the long term. But establishing your policy based on what the public feels like this month is not leadership. It's the precise opposite of leadership. That is just standing in front of a crowd. A leader directs the crowd. A leader has the dog going, and the dog might be marching in front of you, but who is the leader between you and the dog? And if you're saying like, well, this is where the polls are going, so I'm going to go wherever they're pulling me, now the dog is the leader. You're the master. The dog is the pet. So in this context, the public opinion is the pet. And the leader is supposed to be controlling that. You can try and sell it. You can try to say, hey, look over there. There's a nice fire hydrant. You're going to like that better. It's a little bit of a longer walk. You're going to like it better. You're going to be happier. And some may agree with you and some may not. But a real leader isn't sitting there like the puppy looking back at the master saying, what do you want? What do you want? Where do you want me to go? I'll go wherever you want me to go. That's Hillary Clinton. That type of leadership is Hillary Clinton. I'm continually flip-flopping on what we should do with the Iraq war. What should we do with gay marriage? What should we do with trans? She's going to go with public opinion. That's not someone who has their own convictions. It's not someone who has their own ideology. That's someone who's just desperate to be a leader, desperate for the fame and trappings of being a leader rather than actually being the leader. They like the cozy chair. They want to sit in the captain's chair without having the wherewithal to make decisions that are difficult and painful, but necessary. So you may be correct. I don't know. I can't keep up with the latest polls. And the latest polls, when it comes to politics, certainly seem like they're grossly inaccurate. Grossly inaccurate. And that's why I don't think you can worry about, like, you know, what every poll says. Yeah, I understand that if there's terrible polling that's going on for 3 months, 6 months straight, that everyone's like, we hate this, we hate this, we hate this, we hate this, we hate this. At a certain point, you're wise to sort of say, maybe I should sort of rethink this. But just because there's leanings at 53% today are against ICE. So what? That's meaningless. That's meaningless. And God forbid some poor girl gets butchered by some illegal alien next week. God forbid. Everyone will be screaming, why didn't you get rid of the illegal aliens? Public is reactionary. The politician and a leader's job is to be proactive and to fix things. That's the difference. Jay Schwabach, did you know Branca was so embarrassed by last night that he couldn't have a show today? Nate sent him, Branca, to a rest home to recuperate. Just joking, it was great. Yeah, I saw that Nate put out a video today. Oh, it's like, I saw that. And then he made it members only. So I didn't get to watch the video. But yeah, no one asked me my opinion at the end of the show yesterday. Like, where was I at? I came in there. I started that show off saying, look, I'm not a criminal defense attorney. I got no training, no background in that. I'm just a really, really, really smart guy who happens to have a background in law. So sell it to me. You know, just sell me. No one asked me my opinion the whole night. Like, okay, he gave his thing. And I was like, and the whole time I was trying to say, well, what would you say about this scenario? What about that scenario? What about this? What about that? But I was very neutral. Because I don't feel like I have a dog in this fight. So it's like my opinion on this is like, okay. But I've been holding out. I've been holding out for the right moment before I weigh in. I've been holding out. Yep, I was moderating. And I felt that was appropriate. So, there you go. All right. I am streaming to Facebook again. That's true. You can find me on Facebook now. You can find me on YouTube also, but I am on Facebook again. Yes. Yes. Name members only because he was getting spanked in the comments. Perhaps. I don't know. I didn't see. It's members only. All right. Let's give you more updates. This is the interesting thing about the conversation. Tim Walz apparently had a lengthy conversation with Donald Trump. And the very, very interesting thing about this is fans of Trump, most Trump supporters are very angry at Trump, feeling like he caved. And I'm just going to share this with you. Fans of Tim Walz are very, very angry at him that they think Tim Walz caved. So that's an interesting thing that you never really listen to what the other side optics are. From Tim Walz fans' perspective, he lost by sitting down and even talking to Trump.
We just got a statement from the office of Minnesota Governor Tim Walz about his conversation with President Trump that we reported on earlier. The governor's office called it productive, adding, quote, the president agreed that he would talk to the Department of Homeland Security about ensuring the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension is able to conduct an independent investigation, as would ordinarily be the case. The president also agreed to look into reducing the number of federal agents in Minnesota and working with the state in a more coordinated fashion on immigration enforcement regarding violent criminals. Now, President Trump is sending a new direct report to Minneapolis. Veteran ICE official Tom Homan. It's unclear how he will work with leaders on the ground, like the chief and the chief at large of Border Patrol, Gregory Bovino. I spoke at length. He just got a statement from.
So there you go. There you go. And Paul Zappola saying Tim Walz now doing damage control after he caved to President Trump and begged him for immigration help. This comes after a signal chat group was exposed showing Democrat politicians and reporters in Minnesota colluding with protesters. Busted. And I understand, you know, that what Keith said here, and I'm not trying to shoot the messenger. I'm not shooting you. But this really, CNN was saying literally the opposite just yesterday. That's what I was saying. Like, you know, the tide changes so rapidly. You can't govern by worrying about what the tide is saying. But CNN was saying not like what Keith was saying, and that folks still want everyone deported.
Yeah, sometimes I like blunt questions because they sort of get at the underlying feelings that people have. So this is about as blunt a question as you can get. Deport all immigrants here illegally. I will note the ABC News poll asked about undocumented immigrants. So we have slightly different questions, but these were all taken within the last month. And there's real uniformity here. That's what I really think you see. You see real uniformity. Deport all immigrants who are here illegally. 55% of the New York Times. Marquette, 64%. CBS News, 57%. ABC News with a slightly different question, 56%. So what you're seeing essentially here is a very clear indication that a majority of Americans, in fact, when they're asked this blunt question, which I believe gets at the underlying feelings, do in fact want to deport all immigrants who are here illegally. There's no arguing with these different numbers because they're all essentially the same across 4 different pollsters. Feelings towards immigration in this country, feelings towards undocumented immigrants and deporting all of them have become considerably more hawkish. And I think that gives Donald Trump much more leverage to go with the American people and sort of have these hawkish, some might say harsh, different rhetoric and also issue-based sort of going after immigrants who are here illegally, want immigration levels decreased. This includes legal and illegal immigration. Look at this. Last year, 55%. That is the highest level since the 9/11 aftermath. You go back just to 2020.
And this again, legal and illegal. So people want less people coming into the country.
Exactly. They want less people coming into the country. Look at that. That's a 14-point rise from 2023. You go back to 2016 when Donald Trump again was running for president the first time, it was 38%. That's a 17-point rise. So the bottom line is more folks want people who are here illegally deported, and their overall feelings towards immigration have become considerably more hawkish.
63% say they're okay with deporting immigrants who are here illegally and arrived in the last 4 years. 87% are good with deporting immigrants who are here illegally and have criminal records.
So, yeah. I don't think that we've slowed down that much. I definitely would recognize, I think it's foolish to not recognize that when there's a shooting of an American in a manner particularly like what we've
sometimes
seen,
I like
where the individuals are not pulling guns on the ICE agent, that it's going to draw some anti-ICE sympathy. But the anti-ICE people are starting to freak out. They are starting to freak out. Yesterday, I shared with you Antifa Kyle, who was screaming that he's loading up. He's strapping up and going down to Nicolette. Let me see if I can still find that, so I can remind those of you who hadn't seen it. Let me see if I can find it real quick here. So definitely let me see if I can find it real quick. Give me a minute, because it's worth showing the change, the rapid change. I have to see if I can find it quick, because I might be able to find it. It might be fast if I just search for Antifa Kyle. That might be faster. Now, let me just do this a different way. Let me see if I can find it, because I really think I was going to share this clip of you yesterday. I had put this aside to share with you yesterday, and then I had the debate that fell in my lap that I couldn't look away from. Okay, yeah, this is the first.
Miss Kyle.
This is the first clip I want to share with you. The change is hilarious.
Miss Kyle, I'm Antifa, and there's so much rage in me that I've. Miss Kyle, I'm Antifa.
Sorry about that. Let me get this up for you on screen.
Miss Kyle, I'm Antifa, and there's so much rage in me that I've had to record this like 15 times trying to get the message out. They fucked up. Okay, go watch my other videos. Doesn't matter if you're not here and you're not caught up. You missed the fucking fight. But if you are, it's time to suit up. Boots on the ground. Nicollet and fucking 26th. My house is 4 blocks away. Anywhere between Franklin and Nicollet and 26th and Nicollet. Show up, ready to go. Okay, not talking about peaceful protests anymore. We're not talking about having polite conversations anymore. I am talking specifically to my fucking followers. This is everything I have fucking talked about, and this is exactly what I said was gonna happen. This is exactly what I said was gonna fucking come when we didn't fucking go and march on fucking Whipple with guns. Sorry, but welcome to America 2026, where Second Amendment is the only thing that's going to keep you fucking protected from literal fucking Nazi gunmen that are killing innocent people in the street with impunity. This is not a fucking joke. There's nothing fun to chant about it. Get your fucking guns and stop these fucking people.
Okay, so that's kind of deranged, right? I mean, I think you and I can agree that that's very deranged. This is also him.
I do this all year, all the time. I'm out and about like this because I do it for me all year, all the time. Yeah. Yep. I'm a fucking blue collar fuck of a dude all day long. And then at least a few times every week, I like to get real clean and pretty and go out, shoot pool or get dinner, maybe go dance. You never fucking know, right? But I don't need a fucking parade to celebrate. I don't need to be groped and harassed and fat catcalled and treated like a piece of meat by a bunch of fucking cis women who fucking give me side eyes in public when I do this the rest of the fucking year. Who mumble to themselves and fucking have all kinds of things to say behind my back. All of you, fuck off.
So that's another side of Antifa, Kyle. That's another side that you might not have seen coming. I thought I should share with you all so you have a better picture of who this guy is. Well, the first video I showed you was from 2 days ago. That was from Sunday. This is Antifa Kyle on Monday.
The video I posted from the Alex Pretti murder, calling for direct action, calling for boots on the ground, calling for someone to stand against these murderers, was deemed inciting violence, and they're
no, really. Really? And in case YouTube gets confused, I want to be clear here that what he said in that video was insanity. Was insanity. Okay, I just want to be clear because I know sometimes they get confused. That was insanity, and I don't support violence of any kind. In case YouTube gets confused about this sort of thing, I definitely disagree with everything that this man has probably ever stood for in his life.
They're being bullied by the administration, clearly. I don't think that they're going to let them take my account down, but I don't know what they're going to do, man. They're going to silence me somehow, and
no,
they're having a hard time putting a bullet in my head, so we shall see what they do to me. get the job done. I have a backup account in my bio. I am basically on the run now. I have safe places and I have evacuations planned out, but the way things are going, I'm going to have to be very resourceful, and that's going to take support. So, thank you.
Oh, you want money. Oh, now you want money. First you act the fool, start screaming boots on the ground, F this, F that, we need boots on the ground, come in there strapped, let's go. And then 10 minutes later, you're like, oh my God, they don't like me. I need money.
Thank you a million times to those of you who have. We were able to deploy over 100 gas masks on the streets in the
I need money. Please send me money.
last couple of days and help a lot of people, probably even save a couple of lives with the amount of CS
Almost definitely saved no lives.
gas they've deployed.
You probably killed Alex Pretti.
As I've said a million times, I'm going to stay in this fight to the bitter end. I'm not going to run away, but I will need some help.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Rough times for Antifa Kyle. Rough times ahead for Antifa Kyle. What he wrote there on the bottom, because I didn't read it, was links in bio. I need a lawyer, possibly political asylum. Thank you for everyone who has messaged me support. There are tens of thousands of you, and I'm grateful for every one of you. Yeah. Antifa Kyle. You know where the grift is, Antifa Kyle, don't you? Well, we should talk a little bit about developments that have come along for this guy. Where are you? That's not what I wanted. No, wrong tab. This is what I want. What's been going on? Well, what's been going on is that Cam Higbee has basically been going on. Cam Higbee, independent journalist, friend of Nick Shirley, sent them into full panic when he exposed, and we shared with you the other day, his expose where he was talking about how he's inside these signal chats. You might have even seen a video, which I sort of clipped of myself, covering some of the communications in these signal chats. Alex Pretti was in these signal chats. He wasn't at a protest. This is an important thing to understand. He wasn't at a protest when he was killed. He was sent there by these signal chats. And one of a handful of people was like, oh my gosh, we need to rush there right now. That's not a protest. Protest is a gathering of people who are just like, down with ICE, down with ICE. That would be a protest. This is just like, hey, what's going on here? Legal observer, rapid responder on the scene here. Speedy Gonzalez on the scene here. That's anyway. After they were exposed by Cam Higbee, all of a sudden they're like, oh my God, Kash Patel is like, yeah, we're going to be taking a very close look at that. And now and then they went into full panic mode. Signal Network begins distributing an NBC-like link about Kash Patel launching a federal investigation into Signalgate. I love that Signalgate, by the way, becomes the new name for what's going on with Antifa instead of it being about Pete Hegseth. It's a great appropriation of that term, Signalgate. Another user in their legal advice chat claims that ICE are not real federal agents. Can't prosecute anyone. Yeah, that's true, but the DOJ can. So the FBI can. Federal agents don't prosecute anyone in general. Prosecutors do. But ICE can absolutely arrest you for impeding or obstructing and have you prosecuted as a result. FBI is investigating Minnesota's signal groups tracking ICE, Patel says. FBI Director Kash Patel made this statement after right-wing media figures said they joined the chats and claimed participants. So, yeah, that was Cam Higbee. Cam Higbee inspired him. It's not true anyways, guys. Just put it like this. They're ICE agents. They're not real federal officers. They don't have power to federally prosecute anybody, especially a U.S. citizen. They're there to maintain U.S. immigration customs. Oh, this is great legal advice. Yes, go with that. Go with that. Totally true. Totally true. Brian Krasenstein saying, I'm starting a new private signal group to coordinate protest nationwide. Stay tuned. He's probably joking. He's probably joking.
I was in the Signal
This is Cam Higbee with Benny Johnson.
Chat for several days before I felt an overwhelming obligation to make the public aware of what was happening. Like you said, there were a lot of other reporters inside the chats, and I just wonder why there wasn't a feeling of obligation from mainstream reporters to leak this. Reuters, who I think people have identified, and again, I'm not saying with 100% certainty that they were in there because I just haven't had time to look into all the names yet. I've just been doing info drops. There was a Reuters car behind us. I think for 2 days, they had a Reuters printout in their windshield right behind us, especially when we were, when I was following a bunch of protesters that were following Greg Bovino around. They dumped a bag of chips on him. He had to deploy that green tear gas. Everybody saw that video. That was that day. There was a Reuters car right behind us, and we were right behind the convoy. So that's what's going on. And the Signal chats did get nuked as a result of my reporting. They completely wiped the Signal chats, but they've restarted. This is live right now. There they are, calling out license plates and intersections as we speak.
So apparently they closed out the Signal chats and he got back in on the new ones. Good times. Here is Kash Patel
okay, so
confirming.
This is breaking news. So you and the FBI and perhaps other intelligence agencies are fully.
Sorry, I was having a problem with my mouse there. I apologize for that. Why is it doing that?
Aware of this coordinated effort to attack federal law enforcement, to impede them and potentially insurrect. And so there is now an open investigation into these chats and into this coordinated network.
Yeah, what I can say is,
some of them are fleeing. Some of them are very scared now. You can see their chats. They're very, very worried now that they have been exposed.
well, they should be. If they broke the law, you should be worried. It's that simple. If you didn't break the law, there's really nothing to worry about on that front. And so, we're going to continue, as I've said from day one, we will protect law enforcement. We will make sure they have the security and safety to do their jobs. We will also ensure that civilians have the ultimate protection of the First and Second Amendment. But it is my job to adjudicate the difference when there is a breaking of federal statute or state law in the furtherance of a crime or violence against law enforcement officers. And that's when we step in.
So I want to just share with you what Cam Higbee has been doing here, because this young man has been doing remarkable work. This is just a general. Okay, that's getting annoying. I think it's coming from here. Let's try and close that out. I think I might have fixed it. I'm hoping I fixed that noise. That noise it's annoying me as well as you. Before I get to Cam Higbee's work, let's let me catch up on some chats here. Trump doesn't make good on promises. People will not vote to help out because nothing in the government system has changed. I agree with you. It's very important that people feel as if he's keeping his promises. That's essential. Problem is Trump never goes far enough for some, myself including, goes too far, most in the center, bleeding support in both directions. Yep, I agree with you. You can't back down now. Polls are relevant. The left proved with the church protest and latest Trump move, if they push, they get what they want. Even if MAGA wins in 2026, 2028, the left will take what they want. We lost. I think it's premature to say that. I think it's premature. We got rid of 2.5 million illegal aliens in 1 year. It's the first time in over 5 decades that we had a net loss, a net negative, fewer people in our country. Fewer illegal aliens in our country year over year. So I would not call this a net loss, and especially if that trend continues. But we'll see. If people want to understand what Trump is doing, they should watch Promethean. Well, I'm gonna walk you through it. I'll walk you through it. Don't worry, I'm going there. I'm coming to you. That horn was me recognizing, me seeing red later on. Support all aliens who have gamed the system. Demoting Bovino is Trump MacArthur mistake. Jake the lawyer immigration video should be required watching. Okay, I don't know who Jake the lawyer is, but I will tell you that it's not so simple. I haven't gotten to the Tom Homan replacing Bovino segment of my show yet. I will get there. I am working there, and maybe we'll check out Jake the lawyer immigration thing if we get a chance. Where should they build America's answer to CCOT? You can't. You can't build CCOT because that would be deemed cruel and unusual here. You can't build it here. So the beauty of CCOT is that it's pretty much cruel and unusual punishment. You can't build it here. We need to identify more CCOTs, though, like, Russian gulags. That's what we need to identify. You know where you can build CCOT? In Guatemala and in Mexico. That's where you build it. You basically pay Mexico to build CCOT. That's an idea. That's an idea I like. Look, we can't do it here, but you want us to build you a prison? We'll give you like $30 million, and we'll build it for you. I like that idea a lot. Well, you need $100 million? All right, we'll give you $100 million, and you build yourself your own little CCOT. Not little, a nice big giant CCOT. It'll help your employment. Give cartels something to do. You always have the crooks running you always put the crooks in charge of the asylum. There you go. The answer, where should they build America's answer to CCOT? Mexico. Century Bro coming in with 100. Does this go towards tonight's goal? Hell yes, it does. Oh, hell yes, it does. Of course it does. America for Americans. Keith Boy wants to give Australians to Islamists. No, I think Keith he followed up by saying that he doesn't think Trump goes far enough. I think he has concerns that Trump is going to go with the polls, or that we're on the unpopular side of the ledger here, the currently unpopular side of the ledger. So I don't know that that's what he's saying, but I don't know. Maybe you've been watching Keith's commentary more closely than I have, so you might have a better grip of Keith than I have. I'm just telling you from what I've seen, at least tonight. They are not experiencing the same reality as us. They honestly believe MAGA are the empire and they're the rebel alliance. They believe they're doing what's ethical and right, impossible to unify. So this is more from Keith. I'll tell you right now, that's definitely true. They do think that they're the good guys. They always have thought they're the good guys. Their whole opposition to Trump is because we're good and they're evil. That's what the legacy media succeeded in convincing them. You're correct. It's true. It's unfortunate that they're so stupid, so easily swayed, so that their emotions are so easily weaponized. Probably because they've been indoctrinated by an American education system. And they can't open their own eyes. I agree with you. I think that they're very stupid people, for the most part. Some of the smarter ones feel like they get rich from it. So I wanted to cover for you all what was going on with Cam Higbee, because this guy deserves a tip of the cap for exposing all this. This is his X account. He said, new Signalgate drops coming by subscribers. It's sensitive to my cover. And if leftists want to blow it, they're going to have to pay me. Okay. Thank you for all your support. Truly, it means the world to me. Okay, this one I didn't really care about. Where was it? I had it, like, when I moved this thing over, all my Cam Higbee stuff jumped. I believe you have the right to drink alcohol, but I should operate. I actually wanted to get down. A revealing quote from FBI director As soon as Cam Higbie put that post out, I opened an investigation on it, Kash Patel told Benny Johnson. Yep, it is a bigger story than anything CNN has broken in the last 10 years. Okay. This part that he put up here, I don't really agree is necessarily accurate. It's an attorney general linked to Signalgate. This is just a link that they put in the Signal chat to the attorney general, where they basically say the attorney general has opened up that you can report things directly to the attorney general. I checked out these tiny URLs. If you look at this thing here, it's got tiny URLs of cops working with ICE and support talking to the press and evidence of abduction. All these, if you go to these tiny URLs, these are different forms that you can fill in that to notify the ACLU about a situation or to notify the attorney general. That doesn't mean the attorney general is working with these Signal chats. It simply means Signal chats are using the attorney general's form to try and referring people over to the proper form if they're looking for the attorney general to help them. And I think that Keith Ellison, the attorney general, would help them, but that doesn't imply that he's dedicating resources toward them. Now, let me be clear. I do think he probably is dedicating resources toward them. I just don't think this is the evidence of that, if you catch my meaning. So I think Keith Ellison, or if not him individually, people in the staff are working together with these anti-ICE folks. I just don't think that this is the evidence of that, because what they use here is a standard link, tinyurl.com, MN for form AG. That's just a common link. If you type that in here, tinyurl. Yes, you see that I did this earlier. This is just a standard form that the AG has. This is not something that they have specifically for the anti-ICE people. It's just a federal action reporting form. So the anti-ICE people link to this if you want to report on something about an incident, potentially relating to ICE. So, but that doesn't mean that they're working with the anti-ICE people, if you understand my meaning. So I think Cam is actually mistaken on this particular post. That's not to discredit the amazing work he's done, because he has done amazing work. I just think that particular post is perhaps it's biting a little more of a claim than it's actually attained. So here he's showing about how they're still play checking today. This is today, after they had scrambled and things of that nature. Giving numbers of people on the list, 200 people on the list there. I really want to say, I gotta scroll that much further. Full panic. Signal Network begins distributing an NBC link about Kash Patel launching a federal investigation into Signalgate. This we covered a few minutes ago. This is showing how spooked they were. This was yesterday. If you attended the nightly Zoom healing space tonight, we're asking your full name or first name and last name as a Zoom user. Do these two things. Deactivate your social media accounts. They all realize that Cam Higbie has basically exposed them to Kash Patel, and Kash Patel is coming for them. And that's why they're starting to flee, which is kind of hilarious. Yeah, like they're scattering like cockroaches. Deactivate all social media accounts with your name on them, including LinkedIn, for at least a brief time, or change your username and PFP to something random. 2, sign up for a Google alert on your name. Consider services like Delete Me and easy opt-outs. A recording for tonight was posted on Nazi Twitter by Cam Higbie. His followers have been trying to come after us. This is just amazing. Amazing. I don't really care so much about this stupid lawyer. She's just some woke lawyer. She's a nobody to me. She's a woke lawyer working with these anti-ICE people. Okay. I don't really care. I find her to be boring and just your typical loony lefty. So she happens to have a law degree. Okay. So they're all seeking legal advice. Hey, all. We would absolutely love for someone to build a truly vetted chat, but to be super blunt, all the attorneys and legal workers who admin this chat are up to their eyeballs already and simply don't have the capacity. We also want to make sure people who are abused by ICE and able to easily access the resources in this chat and connect with attorneys, thus the unvetted chat. I hope that makes sense. We absolutely encourage folks to organize outside this chat to the same end for vetted option. They're getting freaked out. The list of names of everyone on the list is out there. At least what their at least what the ad put up as their name, if not their real names. Oh, we're gonna
shake it off. So you don't have to do that if that's not working. But two different ways of moving that can be very helpful if you're involved in something very stressful. One would be like a shaking. So if you might be like, oh, my body would just like to, and just shake it off. So you don't have to do that if that's not what your body is calling you. This is real. Let it happen. This is real.
Okay. That is the Insurrectionist Healing Hour Zoom call for the anti-ICE people. Because they understand that, hey, if you're anti-ICE, you're probably stressed and feeling like in need of a safe space. So what they did was they put together a little group kumbaya thing designed to basically for their anti-ICE, totally patriotic, worrying about our criminal illegal alien brethren and protecting the sodomites from South America, protecting the sodomites from South America. So and making sure they can stay here in the country. So they realize that that's pretty stressful. You know, you're going out there, you're facing people got guns, you see people getting killed, you see Signalgate being in, you see your signal chats are being compromised. Kash Patel is talking about investigating you. You might be a little stressed. You might be feeling a little bit like, freaked out. Understand the people that this audience here invented the term safe space, right? I mean, they're outside their safe space right now. So out of concern for those people who are unaccustomed to being outside of safe space for more than 20 seconds, they feel like, okay, people might need some self-help. So they decide to set up a Zoom call where they say, okay, look, we're going to walk you through how to deal with the stresses that you, as a noble warrior fighting against ICE, are likely feeling right now. And they set up this group Zoom chat. And Cam Higbee busted on in there and decided to share it with us. So right now, I'm feeling stressed. You probably can't appreciate like the stresses I feel. Okay, you look into yourself, your own life. Do you ever look and think about, wow, I wonder what Joe's stresses are like? I don't think so. Maybe once or twice you have. I don't know. I don't think most of you have. But I deal with stresses. I'm not going to tell you about my stresses. I'm not going to burden you with that. I'm here to shoulder other people's burdens, but I feel stresses. And right now I'm feeling some levels of stress. And the best way for me to de-stressify, I think, is by watching this anti-ICE signal health de-stressifier. We're going to get a health cleanse, a stress cleanse, you and me together. So we're going to watch this and we're going to try and learn from it. So this way, we will have our safe space. We can all be, this is part of what the following is about. It's about greater personal growth. So I don't know why I didn't come to you with this earlier. I do my best. Okay, so what we're going to do is let's check out this video, and hopefully this will help not just me, but you. It'll help all of us. We'll all become stronger together. Less stress in our lives is a good thing. And the anti-ICE people are here to teach us how. That is Hebrew. That was Hebrew there. It's actually the second passage from this week's section of the Torah that we read. The second passage from the song that the Israelites sang after they were saved from the Red Sea. You'll find that passage if you go to Exodus. It's in chapter 15, Second passage. It's something that I'm actually scheduled because I study each night. Like I go through like the weekly section, and it's a long thing to go through. I spend several hours a week doing this. And frequently recently, I've been doing it after I finish my show when I'm not snowblowing. So I am actually up to this section that I'm supposed to be doing later tonight is the song that the Israelites sang when they were saved by the Red Sea. It's coming up in this the portion of the Torah to read this week. And that is chapter 15, passage 2. What does it mean? Basically, we're singing to God, praise to God, that he's here for as a salvation for us. I don't know why they think that's but it fits in with what Keith was saying, that they think they're the good guys. So they're turning to God and basically saying, be our salvation. I don't know why they're singing in Hebrew. If you ever watched Prince of Egypt, right? The Disney Moses plagues one, right? I think it was called Prince of Egypt. So there's a very pretty song which they have a child singing, where they sing Ashira Lashem Ki Gaga Ki Mi Chamocha Beinim Hashem. So that song is from the same thing. Lady Logic was just looking at me and shaking her head. No, just stop. Just stop. She's like, no, trust me. Stop. No, really, trust me. So she looks out for me. So I'm going to take her word on it. I'm going to take her word for her. So yeah, anyway, that's another passage. These are all passages from the song that the Israelites sang after they were saved.
Glad to be with you here. My name is Ben Connolly, and I'm going to...
Hi, Ben Connolly.
Main facilitator this evening, Team Michael Rock, is also here with me.
He's our facilitator. I never had a facilitator before, but now Ben Connolly is my facilitator. Thank you, Ben, for being our facilitator.
To support you all, and Sam will be handling the technology. If you have any tech needs or concerns. So, this
coming a little close there, Ben.
Zoom healing space for rapid responders.
Zoom healing space for rapid responders. I'm a rapid responder. If someone calls out to me for help, I'm there in a jiffy. So I don't feel as if I'm doing anything wrong in eavesdropping here. I feel like they're kind of gearing this toward me.
Is something it has all their actual names for about a month, and it's organized. It was originally kind of came out of some work by March Group, which is multi-faith, anti-racist change and healing. It's kind of a loose network of pro-queer, anti-racist.
Whoa. That's not helping my stress levels. That picture right there. That picture of Andrea B. That's not helping my stress levels.
Faith people. And this will be a half an hour long. And this is not a vetted space, so we're careful about how we distribute the Zoom link to get in here. However, we can't be sure that someone isn't here who might be trying to get information or interfere with what we're doing. So we just invite folks to, handle that security question in your own way, like in terms of your own.
I have a feeling no one's going to break in there and expose this. You're safe. It might not feel vetted, but I'm sure everything will be okay.
Sense of your safety. We encourage you to don't use your whole name here, and
yes,
in particular to not share any details that could point back to someone else. So just talking about your own personal experience, and probably not in a great deal of detail about what you've been doing on the rapid response, about your own personal experience, and more fundamentally, this is a space that is for you. It's designed to be a healing, grounding for your well-being. We understand that you're doing very courageous, difficult work, and there has been a lot of violence directed towards people involved in rapid response. And that's really hard on bodies and hearts and minds and spirits. So this is just a time for your well-being. So I'm just going to move us through a variety of sort of grounding in the body and in our values type of things. We'll probably have some song. So I'd like to just begin by inviting you to notice your body. You don't
Notice your
have to
body.
do something fancy at
What should I
this
do
moment.
to notice
Just
my
bring your
body?
attention to your own embodied experience. How does your body feel? What are the sensations there?
I'm sensing my own body.
Unmute to have to pee.
And I'm going to invite you to really listen to what your body is telling you right now about what it needs. And if it feels like it needs to be settled and at rest, see if you can find a posture or a position that helps you to be settled and at rest. If it feels like it needs to release some energy, I encourage you to move. And the two main moments, you might want to stand up or just move while you're sitting. But two different ways of moving that can be very helpful if you're involved in something very stressful. One would be like a shaking. So if you might be like, oh, my body would just like to just shake.
It's very helpful. This is really good. This is really good. You need to try it. You all need to try it. I do it with the tongue. I'm like, ah. Oh my God. Yeah, it's true. I feel much better already. I feel it already. I can't do it with my, I don't have enough jowls to be able to do it with my cheeks. That Jar Jar Binks thing. Are you doing it? Are you doing it? It's helpful. You need to do it. If you're not doing it, don't worry about people around you. I got Lady Logic looking at me like I'm insane also. I don't worry about her. You want to find inner peace or not? So go out there. Listen to the man. He's an experienced facilitator, this guy. Yeah, your game is free. Most people have to pay for this type of brilliance and insights.
If it feels like it needs to be settled and rest, see if you can find a posture or a position that helps you to be settled and at rest. If it feels like it needs to release some energy, I encourage you to move. And the two main moments, you might want to stand up or just move while you're sitting. But two different ways of moving that can be very helpful if you're involved in something very stressful. One would be like a shaking. So if you might be like, oh, my body would just like to just shake it off. So you don't have to do that if that's not what your body is calling you. This is real. You are, let it happen. This is real. Or you might feel sort of a sense of needing to open and stretch. And you can just try and listen to what is your body telling you it needs. So this is about trusting your own embodied experience.
This is a 30-minute healing session for people who have been doing rapid response.
What does my body feel it needs? What does my body feel it needs?
Underlying everything I do this evening is the idea that focusing attention is an act of care. And I'm just going to invite you to notice how you feel.
Okay. I'm feeling better. It's very helpful.
Emotional state.
Still stressed a little bit. Still somewhat stressed, but I'm feeling some of that stress. But this is definitely helping. Keep going, Ben.
See if you could.
See, it's helping. I hope this helped Tori Kaisis Jensen and Jack Stunning. I hope Jack Stunning is feeling better as a result of doing this with the other anti-ICE illegal activity people. You know, I really hope that Tori Kaisis Jensen isn't as stressed anymore. We all can see that Tori Kaisis Jensen is joining here, hopefully she's feeling less stressed.
Just name it. So again, an act of care, and just knowing the emotion that's present.
Know the emotion that's present. Know the emotion that's present.
Naming it with simple words like tired or angry.
I feel tired. I feel angry. I feel stressed.
Angry or sad or
I feel like a Snickers bar.
calm, tender, whatever it is. And throughout our time together, I invite you to continue to listen to the body and feel free to move.
Feel free to move. Feel free to move.
Beneficial and healing.
Don't whatever is going to be beneficial to healing you, feel free to do that. If you want to just relax, fall backwards, do that. If you want to stand up and pace and that's making you feel better, maybe some jumping jacks, maybe more of the Jar Jar Binks thing, whatever. If that's helping you, just feel your body. Feel your body.
Feel good to you. And to keep your heart open to how you feel.
Keep your heart open.
So now I'm going to ask you to think about, I'll call them ancestors.
Ancestors.
Who have survived and maybe provide some sense of inspiration and resilience for you. And this could be like familial ancestors, so people like your grandparents or your parents or your great-grandparents.
And Bertha.
But it also could be spiritual ancestors.
Spiritual ancestors.
People who lived and inspired the kind of work you're doing as a rapid responder, this work of facing violence with nonviolence and witness. So just see if you can think of some ancestors, inspirations from the past.
Inspirations from the past.
Liberation, or the lineage of your life, or the lineage of your religion or your community.
Stalin. Joseph Stalin.
Think of some of these resilient ancestors.
So resilient. Joseph Stalin.
And I'm going to invite you to type some names.
I'm thinking of Greg Bovino.
Type some names in the chat.
If you think of an ancestor or two.
You can feel.
Type Greg Bovino in chat.
Everyone you can think of in there, although you could.
That's right.
Mao. Let's see who they say.
Mao. Mao Zedong.
Nobody's saying anything. Nobody's saying anything.
Pol
He's
Pot.
like asking people to type in chat. Nobody's piping up.
Idi Amin Dada.
Nope. I have no idea who that is.
And as we see these come in, T has graciously offered to read these back to us.
Okay,
so
read it.
You don't have to watch the chat. You can really focus on listening and hearing. T, you want to see who's here?
Yes.
All our ancestors?
Let's see who's here.
Yeah, glad to. We're just working out the mute button.
Joseph R. Stalin.
Yeah, I want to start with reading Agnes and Casimir Balaki.
Balaki, are you here? Balaki? Don't play with me, Balaki. I know you're here. Balaki. Do you mean Blake? It's not Blake. Jay Quellen. Aaron.
Wood trees as dear ancestors. Grandpa Bob. The ocean.
My ancestor, the ocean. The ocean. Yes, my ancestor, the ocean.
Dearest ancestor. Auntie Babbitt, Nora, Barbara B.
Sololinsky.
Amoja, Three Rivers. Asia. I'm going to get these pronunciations wrong along the way. I think auntie and auntie is a geographic thing, by the way. Pearl, Helen, Joseph, Harriet Tubman, Millie Renfro.
Harriet Tubman.
Barbara Durbin, strong mother and trailblazer. Great Grandma Cohen.
Great Grandma Cohen. Oh, great Grandma Cohen.
Marnie, Mitochondrial Eve.
Mitochondrial Eve. Jack Daniels.
The very beginning. And although I was also thinking of redwoods, I personally think of trees all the time when I think of ancestors.
Bend over.
Beautiful.
Why?
All right, folks. So here comes some more.
Yep.
Lake Superior.
Thinking of Italian ancestors, we are Bovinos. That's a mixed ancestor bag.
Bovinos.
We're all Bovinos. We are all Greg Bovino. We are all Greg Bovino.
Wow, amazing.
Bovinos.
Lake Superior. I mean, of course, no relation. Yes, thank you, thank you. Stardust, where we all began. I'm sure it's hard to read that name. Yeah.
Harry Bones.
Yoda. Got to get a little bit of Yoda in there.
Yoda. Yoda.
My wife was a proud Native American. Mother Earth protector.
Vader. Vader.
Buffalo's Two-Spirit.
So we have these people here with us. People who have been through
This is
a
common
lot.
gold.
Yes, you are.
I can't believe this is real
You
life.
live with us.
Busta Rhymes.
And I'm glad you're in the room.
He
Run
read it seriously
DMC.
too. He goes
Here's
Yoda.
Grandpa, World War II.
Miss Piggy.
So I forgot to mention, I can't remember if I mentioned this. My name is Ben Conley. I'm the guiding teacher of the Minnesota Zen.
Thank you,
Meditation
Ben
Center.
Connolly, guiding teacher of the Minnesota Zen.
So I would like to offer a little meditation practice for us here. So, oh, another name came in. Uncle Jake, a World War II hero who
Uncle Jake.
passed last summer.
Uncle Ben.
So I'm gonna
Aunt
just
Jemima.
guide us through a very simple practice of settling in the body, how it is,
Okay.
and just come back to this original mindfulness of body offering I gave, which is feel free to move as you're bringing attention to the body.
Oh, I'm moving.
Responding to it with
I'm
care
moving.
in a way that just seems right to you. So wherever you are, if you're sitting or standing or lying down,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to invite you to, if you'd like, let your eyes close. And bring your attention to the parts of the body that are in contact with what is supporting it. So if you're standing, the soles of the feet on the floor.
So be in contact with my chair here.
Perhaps
My
pressure of the
ass.
chair against the back of the legs and the back.
And
If you're lying
the
down,
gluteus.
feeling the couch or the bed against the body.
I feel it. I can feel my legs
Just
touching the
recognizing the actual visceral sensation of being supported.
I'm supported.
I'm going to invite you to let the attention settle down in that belly, in the abdomen, feeling the body breathing.
If you join late, I urge you to feel free to participate. This is a clip, this is a video, a Zoom call that was shared by the anti-ICE, that was shared for anti-ICE rapid responders who were feeling very stressed yesterday. So they set up a Zoom healing space. And this is part of their healing space. And because I too am a rapid responder, when I see, let me tell you something. When nature calls, I respond rapidly. So with that in mind, I too need a break. I need some relaxation from all the stresses I'm feeling. I'm sure you do as well. So we are now partaking in this healing space. And I urge you, please follow along.
Hello.
What was that?
Hello, Sylvia.
Sylvia, you shocked me there.
We're going to just allow the breath to be a basis for allowing us to focus on the present moment.
Officially halfway through tonight's entertainment.
This is almost always available. It's very rare that we're not breathing. It usually only happens briefly.
When have you been not breathing?
So now we're not only experiencing the breath, but developing the capacity to focus on the breath so we can be grounded in the moment.
Grounded in the moment.
At any time.
At any time.
Bovino put trucks. There's trucks in the way. Blocking. He's in position somewhere. Agents are out. He's already coming out.
So with the breath as a helper.
Okay.
Helper to help us stay with the present moment phenomena. I encourage you to let your awareness expand to include the whole body. So there are already sensations there. You're just recognizing what is already present.
Okay.
And if you notice some place where the sensation is particularly strong, or maybe there's sort of a sense that there's a need, sometimes you just feel like a part of the body is holding some suffering. You could just allow your hand.
He looks like, that guy looked like he was holding some suffering.
To come and rest on that place.
Put a hand to rest on that place. I have a feeling I know where their hands went.
So just recognizing attention as an act of care.
Okay. Are you feeling? I hope you're all feeling better. I hope that this is grade A stuff here. Can we go back to the Jar Jar Binks moment?
This guy's just on his phone.
With your awareness grounded on the body, foundation of awareness being body sensations.
All right.
I'm just going to give you an opportunity to listen to the sound of a bell.
Oh, dude, wait, hold on.
The sound of a bell?
A sequence of bells.
A sequence of bells?
And you don't have to do anything with it at all. You can just let yourself be aware of the body and of the sound.
No.
Okay, here comes the bell.
This is your notification that's time to go to church.
Oh my gosh. No, it's getting stressful now. Stop it, Ben. Stop it, Ben. Oh my gosh. Ben.
Oh, they're fighting them.
What was that, Ben? This is definitely not helping. All right. Well, that just ruined everything for me, Ben. I don't know what you were thinking there. The bell ruined everything.
I invite you to allow your eyes to open. If your body has become very settled and still, you might want to just try wiggling around a little bit. Just find some shifting within the body. It feels good.
I was. The bell is still agitating me. I still hear like resonating inside me. It was like a train was just coming right down the tracks right at me. It's just bang, 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 bang. I couldn't get off the tracks. It was crazy.
How are you doing? Susie.
Who's
Okay,
Susie?
good.
Who's Susie?
Sam. Cover that. All right.
Okay.
So,
all right. Are we good now?
one of the wonderful things about mindfulness of breathing is that it is a very portable practice. It doesn't take long. As you.
All right. I got bored. I was having fun with it for a while, but I got bored. The bell really upset me also. I can't with the bell. The bell was not good. You got a twofer with this video, Cleanse and Hilarious Troll, and we thought the following was a cult. It's not at all a cult, type of cult. They should listen and feel free to move. Might I suggest Iran? Nice. Are we a cult now? I feel one with the Unimind. Probably. One time when nature called, I didn't respond. It took me 30 minutes to clean that up. Nice. Well spun. Doing a quick glance over in the ghetto, making sure I didn't miss it. I did miss. Uzan says, Joe, despite you wanting to torture us here, you go, when we have a C card. It starts with a G and it ends in Bay. Green Bay? I understand that, it's been a minute for them, but I don't think Green Bay is really that bad. I think it's not as bad. I'd rather be in Green Bay than in Seacon. So, all right. This is how they talk about Pretti. Pretti was a soldier. He showed up in the morning to go to war, to fight force with force for a purpose he perceived as good. If he was a soldier, I feel much less bad about him dying. He didn't expect to kill. It wasn't part of his plan for the day, nor was getting killed. But that's a part of being a soldier, isn't it? Oh, is that really true? Is that really the case? Is that really the case? He wasn't planning on getting killed? Wasn't planning on engaging or having all that stuff happen to him, coming down on down? Maybe, but maybe not. Maybe he was planning on killing. No, I don't know that he was, but all this portrayals of him being so innocent, hey, this guy was just a nobody who never would never harm a fly. That's not really the reality here. because this guy actually had a history with ICE agents.
CNN is learning that Alex Pretti had a physical encounter with federal agents about a week before he was shot and killed by law enforcement. Sources tell CNN that Pretti broke a rib when a group of federal officers tackled him while he was protesting. Priscilla Alvarez is breaking that story for us. What else are you hearing, Priscilla?
Dana, we're learning more details along with my colleague Jeff Winter about what exactly.
Okay, I can't with her eyes. I can't. Do you mind if I take this off? Just we can like listen to her, because this is something very unsettling to me.
Exactly transpired a week before Alex Pretti was shot in Minneapolis and died this past weekend. Now, in this earlier incident, he stopped his car after observing ICE agents chasing what he described as a family on foot and began shouting and blowing his whistle. Pretti later told one of these sources that 5 agents tackled him and one leaned on his back, appearing to leave him with a broken rib. According to this source.
So what we're getting from this is he was a professional agitator. He's a professional agitator.
And I'm quoting here.
This actually is beneficial potentially for the ICE agents, because if they know he has a history of altercations with ICE, that would justify, that's part of the totality of circumstances, which justifies being a little bit more aggressive with this guy, because he's got a history of being aggressive with ICE.
That source said, quote, that day he thought he was going to die. Now, Pretti was later given medication that is consistent with treating a broken rib, according to records reviewed.
Which, by the way, this means also that Pretti is an idiot, because he clearly is someone who's completely comfortable with engaging in altercations with cops at these protests. So why are you stupid enough to bring a gun here? If you're someone who's engaging in altercations, why are you bringing a gun here?
Viewed by CNN, sources also say that he was known to federal law enforcement, though it's unclear whether it was this incident or another with federal agents that they knew of him. It's also unclear whether the officers who tackled him on Saturday knew who he was. What we do know, however, is that federal immigration officers have been collecting personal information of protesters and agitators within the context of what the Department of Homeland Security has warned is repeated.
See, what is this? What is this? What is that? It's a very Italian name, you know. There's nothing remotely Jewish about the name Alex Pretti. That I've never met a single. Why?
Threats towards officers as they are conducting immigration enforcement operations. In fact, just Tuesday, the department also publicized an online tip form to share information about people allegedly harassing ICE officers. We've also heard Tom Homan, the White House border czar, say that a database would be created for those who are arrested for impeding law enforcement. But thus far in our queries to the Department of Homeland Security, they have said that no such database exists.
Unbelievable. There's a lot more to peel back there.
Yeah, a lot more peel back that's actually beneficial to ICE. Now, if the ICE agents knew the ICE agent who was engaged in that fracas with him, the first one, was not aware of his background, in that case, his background wouldn't be of any help to him, to his defense. When you say this guy, I haven't seen Alex Pretti in a dress. I did see Antifa Kyle in his dress. I shared that. If that's what, if you're behind, that might be what you're about to see. Well, by the way, we've never been in a cult. We've never been in a cult. I just want to be clear on that. I don't know if I made that point earlier. So the point that I'm getting at here, though, is this soldier, and now is sounding a lot less like the innocent. Oh my God, this poor guy who's just helping people. No, he's looking to engage ICE. He was sent there as part of this whole Snapchat group or a Signal group, whatever the hell they are. He's an active participant there. He's not going to a protest. He's showing up with a gun, and he's basically sitting there trying to be an agitator, and he has a history of provocation and altercations with other ICE agents. So he's a lot less of a sympathetic figure, which is probably a good thing. It's probably a good thing. But that being said, Tom Homan, Greg Bovino got tossed out, seemingly because of this incident. And Tom Homan's brought in. Trump knifes little Napoleon Border Patrol commander over Minnesota mayhem as he declares will de-escalate. This has a lot of people upset. A lot of people very bothered by the idea of de-escalating. Donald Trump has knifed a top Border Patrol commander and declared, quote, will de-escalate after a protester was shot dead by federal agents in Minnesota. Gregory Bovino, face of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem's migrant crackdown, was ordered to return to his home state of California on Monday. President appeared to take a dig at Bovino's notoriously aggressive tactics while offering him backhanded praise during an interview with Fox News on Tuesday. Bovino's really good, Trump said ahead of a rally in Clive, Iowa. He's pretty out there kind of guy. Some cases it's good, maybe not here. It's not a pullback, just a little change. You make little changes. Trump has ordered longtime Noam rival and ICE veteran Tom Homan to take over the immigration enforcement operation in Minnesota after Alex Pretti, a 37-year-old VA nurse, was shot dead by agents in Minneapolis on Tuesday. I was unaware that Tom Homan is a longtime Noam rival. That's actually kind of news to me. That's kind of news to me. Because I will tell you this. I don't think Kristi Noem handled the immediate aftermath well. I think she did a pretty poor job, actually. In that, in a desperation to insulate ICE from any type of scrutiny, she bent over backwards to portray this in a way that was too adversarial. It was too adversarial. Before they actually, because let's face it, is it legally defensible? I told you I didn't weigh in with that as far as this shooting. Even Andrew Branco came in here and said this is a legally justifiable shoot. Would still recognize that it didn't look good, right? When the guy is shot in the back, even if it's justifiable, even in screaming gun, 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 state of mind of the officers, it didn't look good. It didn't look good in the sense that he didn't come out as crazy aggressive the way we've seen other people being crazy aggressive. You don't have images of Alex Pretti banging on windows or taking a swing at an agent or even spitting and cursing at them. You have him basically standing up to them and getting maced. You have him refusing to go down, but you don't have him turning around and any image of him actually taking a punch at a woman or even an ICE agent. There's no ugly moment for him as far as him looking like he's a danger to society or even necessarily to ICE, even if you can intellectually understand that carrying a gun makes him a danger and justifies the shoot, potentially. But even if it's a legally defensible shoot, doesn't mean that it looks good to the naked eye. Right? It doesn't look good. The first time you saw that, you were just like, I guarantee you, the first time you saw it, you were like, it might be legal. Might be legal. I can see, how this whole thing, this is not an uncommon series of events. So the whole thing doesn't look good. It might be legal. I'll even go further. I'll say, let's assume it probably was legal. Even if something that's legal doesn't look good, and when then you go out and say this guy is a domestic terrorist who was, about to kill ICE agents, and he was there to kill ICE agents, it comes across as disingenuous. And this is a point in time, and I understand why it is that she came out with that tone, because ICE has been assailed by the left, wrongfully assailed, improperly assailed. They've put up with hell that they should not have had to put up with. But that doesn't mean that this moment here was a shining moment for ICE. This is not a moment they're going to be like, hey, let's share this video in training our next ICE agents. Right? You're definitely on board with me on that. that this is not going to be the model they're going to use to train ICE agents how to handle yourself in a situation. It could be that it's legally okay, but it's not. This is not the yardstick as far as what you're hoping. Like, oh, I hope there's a lot more incidents like this. Definitely not. Right? So in that sense, when she came out, basically, calling him a domestic terrorist and saying he was there to kill ICE agents with little knowledge as far as certainly on his objective to kill ICE agents. Or Greg Bovino comes out and says, if you bring a gun to a protest, ICE has a right to kill you, which is just an inaccurate statement of law. They don't. So now you sort of have portrayed yourselves as going over the top. So in that sense, I can understand Trump saying, look, I love what you guys have done. And Bovino's been amazing. And he has been amazing. He's been great. Great. This was a bad moment. This wasn't a great moment for Bovino or Kristi Noem. Because I do think that they were over the top. I do think that they came out as a little bit stronger than perhaps they had to. So, and you could sit there saying there's no need to justify, but the public is coming and asking you questions. So you can say, hey, we're not answering your questions. It's no need for me to justify, you to justify, but you're either going to say no questions, which doesn't play well in public perception, or you come out with some sort of take on it. Now, they could have come out with a take and saying, we think that this was a legal shoot, but perhaps, this was a very unfortunate situation. You can call it a legal shoot without calling him a domestic terrorist. You can use this moment to say, and they tried using it somewhat to say, this is what happens when Tim Walz encourages people to be aggressive and doesn't give any caution to his own constituents as to how to conduct themselves. And yeah, that this is what ends up happening when an agent is put in fear of serious injury or death. That's what happens. And it's terrible. We don't want to see this happen anymore. You can say, so if you're going to, if you're going to be taking a gun to a protest, maybe you shouldn't be one of the people who's pushing cops around, because that's stupid. That's stupid, because a cop is going to think that you're a threat. And once they think you're a threat, you might not go home. And we don't want to see that happen to anyone. So that's the way you can handle it without saying this guy was the face of evil. When you're in a position where you're saying this registered nurse who's on video there trying to protect a woman, that he's the face of evil, it's not going to play well. So I think Greg Bovino has done a phenomenal job. I think that this weekend, this incident was not was not as great as moment, nor was it a good moment for Kristi Noem. We have Tom Homan there now. We put him in there. He's great. And they met with the governor, the mayor, everybody else. We're going to de-escalate a little bit, the president told Fox. Now, a lot of people hear this language, and like me, they get upset. They're like, wait a second. I don't want you de-escalating anything. I want you to send in 3 times many agents. I'll go one step further. Remember how I told you the other day that what Tim Walz is doing here, these are Hamas tactics. These are terrorist tactics, that blood is good. I even clipped that video and shared it with you guys where I said, this is what they want. It's the same thing Hamas did, where it's like, look, the enemy's blood is better, but our own blood is martyrs, and martyrs are good. Now, Hamas's perspective is martyrs go to heaven, so they're in a better place than if they're here on earth. That's not quite where Tim Walz is at, but from Tim Walz's perspective, he popped champagne at the opportunity that he has to cry over Alex Pretti. And if someone else would die next week, he would pop champagne over that too. Here's another opportunity to make Trump look bad. So he doesn't give a damn about any of these individuals. He doesn't care the slightest about them. This is all about power, prestige, and him trying to win a political war. Just like Hamas. So here's one thing that you learn from dealing with Hamas. That if you capitulate to them, If you give in to them, then they sense weakness and they only ratchet it up that much more. So I don't like the idea of telling them we're going to de-escalate that Trump announced here. I think that's a poor strategy here. Telling them we're going to de-escalate a little bit. Because that makes them see, aha, you see, we're winning. We're winning the war. They're de-escalating. We're winning the war. We need to ramp it up because clearly we're winning the war. So I think this messaging is actually very unhealthy. I think it's very harmful to ICE. So I don't like that Trump did this. I don't like that he said this. Then the question is, what does that actually mean? Trump was frustrated by Noam after she branded Pretti a domestic terrorist, according to reports. Pretti was carrying a licensed handgun, but appeared to have been disarmed when he was shot 10 times in less than 5 seconds. Yeah, the number of shots also seemed like it's a lot of shots for a guy who's got his back to you. The president said of the killing, this whole thing is terrible. I don't like the fact that he was carrying a gun that was fully loaded. He had 2 magazines with him. It's pretty unusual, but nobody knows when they saw the gun, how they saw the gun, and everything else. The president added that both of them were terrible, referring to Renee Good, who was shot dead by ICE agents in Minneapolis. He felt the tragedy particularly keenly because Good's family were Trump voters. I'm not sure about his parents, but I know Good's parents were big Trump fans, Trump added. Not sure what the point is to that. It makes me feel bad anyway, but I mean, I guess you could say even worse. They were tremendous Trump people, Trump fans, and, you know, the daughter she was, I don't know if you could say radicalized, maybe radicalized. Trump said earlier he was standing by Noam despite ordering Homan to oversee the Minnesota operation and report directly to him. I think she's doing a very good job, the president told reporters outside the White House on Tuesday. The border is totally secure. We had a border that we inherited where millions of people were coming through, and now we have a border where no one is coming through. The president met Noam late Sunday night and grilled over the handling and initial response to the shooting. So he brought in Noam. He brought in Tom Homan. And here is Carolyn Levitt introducing the press corps to Tom Homan.
This is a Washington Post headline from 9 years ago, 2016. Meet the man the White House has honored for deporting illegal immigrants. And I would remind everyone in this room that it was former President Barack Hussein Obama who awarded a medal to Mr. Homan. So he's obviously very qualified. He has the full trust and faith of the president. He will continue to have these meetings in the hopes that ICE and local law enforcement can cooperate and work together to have successful immigration enforcement, as we've seen in almost every other state across the country. This is
So that's a good way of basically shutting them up. Like, why, you have a problem with Tom Homan? That's the guy who Obama honored. Well, how can anyone dislike Homan? How can anyone have a problem with Homan? Can't.
Washington.
You can't. And here is Homan going in on whatever her name is. Joe and Mika, whatever her name is. I don't know.
I see on the show this morning you have Governor Healy talking about ICE doing enforcement operations at a church. False. Didn't happen.
They were parked there. They did not do an operation there. She said they were parked in a public space legally.
But to say that and to push that out there puts fear in the immigrant community. So let me tell you what's happening.
To do that puts fear in the community. Right. To park the ICE agent's vehicle
they're on a
near
public
a church.
Street.
They are on a public street. She said
they're on a public street waiting to respond to a criminal alien release pulled aside the road. Let me tell you, in the last couple of days, what's happened in Boston. They've arrested Victor Gomez Perez, a 33-year-old criminal alien from Guatemala, with charges of aggravated rape, assault and battery with dangerous weapon, indecent assault and battery on a victim 14 years or younger. They arrested Kaylee Espinosa, a 33-year-old criminal alien from Colombia, with charges of aggravated assault on a pregnant victim. They arrested Joshua Gonzalez, a 23-year-old criminal alien from Dominican Republic, with charges for trafficking heroin, morphine, opium, resisting police, disorderly conduct, and drug distribution. They also arrested Samuel Armando Barrero, a 20-year-old criminal illegal alien from Guatemala, pending charges for assault and battery on a child. So Mayor Wu and Governor Healy, they ought to be calling ICE and thanking them for making their streets safer, for protecting their communities and taking these people off the street. They have turned a blind eye to this. They're sanctuary cities. Sanctuaries, cities and sanctuary states are sanctuaries for criminals. Give ICE access to the jail to arrest a bad guy in the jail rather than have to go in the community to find them. Because when you go in the community and find them, it puts ICE officers at greater risk. It puts the community at greater risk. It puts the alien at greater risk because anything can happen on the street arrest. This is what we're trying to do. We're trying to prioritize public safety threats. When you got governors and mayors who are releasing these public safety threats every day into the community, that causes the crime rate. And we've seen some terrible incidents in the last few days where innocent victims are murdered. This past year, I've seen innocent Americans raped and murdered by people who are not supposed to be here. So rather than going back and forth and say, well, ICE has got a car parked near a church, that is ridiculous. You're out there looking for people like this, exactly what they're doing.
Well, I would argue that actually that the ICE
and everything he's saying there is spot on. You're in these sanctuary cities are making folks more at risk. More at risk.
Vehicle parked outside a Spanish mass is a frightening sight, given what has happened in this country. I also, with respect, sir, thank you for the information that you have shared on this show, but we would appreciate all of the information, all of it, all of the data that you say you have.
I've done this show several times. Every time on your show, I speak with integrity, I speak with honesty, and I speak with facts. The bottom line is, because of all this false narrative, and you using the term disappearing people,
well, that's what's happened. That happened to the group that was sent to El Salvador.
U.S. citizens get arrested every day. U.S. citizens get arrested by police every day. Are they
removing someone to their own native country is not disappearing them? That's insane. It's an insane way of phrasing it, and it's purposefully placed that way. When Obama sent people back to their country, was that called disappearing them? It's the stupidest thing in the world.
They're being disappeared? No, their laws are being enforced. They're being arrested. They're being put in detention because they committed a criminal offense.
Not like what you're doing.
Not even close. We're enforcing the law and arresting people here in violation of law that are public safety threats. That's not disappearing people. That's enforcing the laws of this country and making this country safer.
So that's Tom Homan. I got one more clip of Tom over here.
This job and these people who want to say follow ICE, and film ICE, you know what? You can protest. They have that right. But when you cross that line, and we've proven it, if you interfere or impede or assault an ICE officer, you will be prosecuted. And one thing I'm pushing for right now, Laura, we're going to create a database where those people that are arrested for interference, impediment, assault, we're going to make them famous. We're going to put their face on TV. We're going to let their employers in their neighborhoods, in their schools.
That's what you do.
People are. Because as you said, a lot of these people, they say they're taking time off work to protest. I bet you a lot of them are calling in sick. I bet you a lot of their employers don't know what they're doing. But we're going to make sure everybody knows who they are. We're going to broadcast. They want to broadcast the ICE officer that was nearly killed all over the internet. We're going to broadcast every one of these people we arrest.
Yep, that's the way you do it. That's a phenomenal strategy. I love that strategy. A lot of people are upset. They feel as if Trump has stabbed Greg Bovino in the back. They feel as if he's de-escalating. They feel as if he's capitulating. So first and foremost, what I would tell you is that people in Tim Walz camp feel like they're upset that he's caving into Trump. He's called out the Minnesota Guard, and that basically they remove people who were protesting ICE at a hospital. He's got the Minneapolis police starting to work with ICE. This is what I will tell you. My read is it's too premature to know. Sometimes we have to recognize when we don't know. Because there are two ways that you can look at this, which are very diametrically opposed. The first way is the way that the negative, the cynical folks will look at this. Trump is caving. Trump got rid of Greg Bovino. He seems like he's about to push Kristi Noem out, or shove her to the side. Tom Homan, and that all these people who were with dogged determination going after these illegal aliens and basically not blinking in the face of ridiculous levels of backlash from Minnesota and the woke army that Minnesota allows to basically rally together to harass ICE. And they properly look at Gregory Bovino as a hero. Gregory Bovino is a hero. Alex Pretti is not a hero. Alex Pretti is a fool. That's what he was. He was a fool who was reckless and stupid. He might have had that doesn't mean he's a domestic terrorist. It just means he's a fool. Gregory Bovino is a hero because he fights. He fights for like what is good and healthy and better for this country. So he's a hero. I don't love the way they handled everything after the shooting of Pretti. But I think that Gregory Bovino is a hero. And you can look at what Trump is doing and cynically and say, oh my gosh, you're caving to the left. This is terrible. This is terrible. I knew we couldn't trust Trump, or I knew that this is not good enough. Or you can sit there and you can have all sorts of terrible things to say about Trump. And what I will tell you is it's very possible that assessment will prove to be true. Or you could look at this a different way. The other way you could look at this is that Trump is trying to be pragmatic as to how to get things done as effectively and efficiently as possible. I don't think Tim Walz wants him to declare the Insurrection Act, and I don't think Trump wants him to declare the Insurrection Act. If you ask me what they talked about on the phone, which we'll never know unless someone writes, unless he writes an autobiography, I would think that phone call was basically Trump telling Tim Walz, you don't want me to declare the Insurrection Act. And frankly, I don't really want to declare the Insurrection Act. So let's find something that we can do so that I don't have to do that. And how we can work this out so I don't have to do that. And negotiate along those lines. Because all the messaging that they were giving in the beginning of this week after the shooting was basically saying the Insurrection Act is coming. But I don't think Trump wants to declare the to invoke the Insurrection Act, because I think he felt like that is politically dangerous. It plays into all the claims about him being a tyrant and a king who's looking to invade our cities with his military. And all the video footage of military roaming through the streets, guns raised along the streets of Minneapolis, it's not a good visual politically. So I think he really didn't want that. I think it's possible that Walz was a little scared about that also. So I do think that there was some negotiation that happened there. And it's also very possible that part of the negotiation was that Greg Bovino would be the sacrificial lamb, but that Minneapolis and Minnesota would start working with Trump. And I think that it's possible that he said, okay, we're going to give messaging about de-escalating, and you're going to give me certain things like the most violent criminals. You're going to give in to those demands that I made. Not the demands that the initial demands that we saw from Pam Bondi, where she's like, we want your SNAP records and all that stuff. But at the very least, you're going to give in on these criminals. That you're going to hand over these criminals to me. That you're going to have the authorities working with us to catch and apprehend people who are suspected with committing violent crimes, who are illegal aliens. And if you believe in Trump, this is what you think. This is how you can defend Trump as far as what he's doing here is actually quite brilliant. So you can look at him cynically and you can say he caved. And he gave in and he got rid of the one guy who was a pit bull in going after illegals in Minnesota and stabbed him in the back on the way out. And this was a terrible thing for him to do. If you truly believe in Trump, you can say this was a brilliant stroke by Trump, where he got Minnesota to start working together with him by basically putting them in a position where they're going to say, no, we refuse to give you these evil people. Trump is asking for the most evil people on earth who are illegal aliens, and we refuse to give them over to you, which that wouldn't look good for Tim Walz or Jacob Fry. It wouldn't look good for either of them. So they basically said, okay, I'll give you this, you give me that. Who did he choose to replace Greg Bovino. This is if you're looking to support Trump and to believe in Trump. You can say, who did he choose? Well, he basically chose the guy who was the most effective person in perhaps American history at shutting down the border. One of the most based people alive today. So you thought Gregory Bovino was bad? It seems like Tom Homan potentially has a capacity to be even more aggressive than Greg Bovino. He didn't pick some neocon. It's not like we got the second coming of Mitch McConnell or Lindsey Graham going out there to handle things on behalf of ICE. You got Tom Homan. I guarantee you, any one of you in this audience who identify as being related and adjacent to MAGA in any way, shape, or form, that you are a huge fan of Tom Homan. I am sure you are. I'm a huge fan of Tom Homan. Can't imagine anyone not loving him. Can't imagine any real patriot not loving Tom Homan. So you're telling me that Greg Bovino was replaced with Tom Homan? I think most people look at Tom Homan properly as a hero, as a guy who's not going to back down to the Mika Brzezinskis of the world, as a person who's not going to back down to the Tim Walz and Jacob Frys of the world, as a person who's actually a very effective strategist, highly decorated for being efficient in this particular arena. It's not like you're asking him to all of a sudden start doing IRS audits. He's doing what he does best, which is basically help fight to keep America safe from illegal aliens. Perhaps in a different capacity from guarding the border, but it's along the same lines. So if you're going to pick one guy that is like perhaps more based than Greg Bovino, it's Tom Homan. So if you're a cynic of Trump saying, "Oh, Trump's throwing in the towel," the last person that would conform to that perspective that you replace him with is Tom Homan. I cannot think of a single other human more than Tom Homan. If you tell me Greg Bovino, something had, God forbid, happened to Greg Bovino and had to be replaced, who would you want to replace him? You'd say Tom Homan. Anyone would say that. So the fact that he tabbed Tom Homan to step in place of Greg Bovino is an indication that he is not de-escalating. What he said was, we're not going to have CBP there if you work together with us. But we're still having ICE agents there. It doesn't mean he's only going after the criminals. The criminals are the ones that he's demanding Minnesota help him with. But once they start helping him with this sort of takes a little bit of the teeth out of the anti-ICE people, because they see that the Minnesota folks, the Minnesota cops, the local police are working together with ICE. It's a very disheartening thing for these anti-ICE people. So between that and between the investigations going on into the anti-ICE people and getting assistance from Minnesota, perhaps the nature of the de-escalation is not de-escalation in how many people are being deported from Minnesota, but de-escalation of the level of agitation between ICE and anti-ICE people. But that he's still going after and still going to be able to target, perhaps with less resistance, the same criminals, even the same illegal aliens, even the ones who are not criminals. So if you're a fan of Trump and you're a believer in Trump, you can certainly make the claim that this was a brilliant masterstroke by Trump. And it's unfortunate that Greg Bovino got caught in the crosshairs here, but this is a necessary thing for a job that ultimately needs to get done. And Greg Bovino will be fine. He'll get some other, California, there's plenty of aliens for him to go after in California. There's plenty of people there. It's not like California is like an easy place either. So you can look at this and say, you know what? I think he's going to be fine. I think so. So with that, I would say to you, how should we look at this? I look at this situation as I am hopeful for the future, but mindful for the fact that this could be a stab. This could be a backstab. This could be a lack of proper dedication to the job that we entrusted Donald Trump with. But I'm hopeful that, in fact, it bears out that they do continue deporting every illegal that they find. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. Now, I will say there was a pause that was put on arresting folks who are non-criminal illegal aliens. I did see a report to that effect. And that is disconcerting. And the question is how long that is in effect. Is that a temporary thing? Or is that something that's going to be the new normal in Minnesota going forward? And that's the sort of thing we need to sort of be alert to assess as to whether or not this was basically a betrayal of MAGA's trust in Trump. And you can do that for the short term. You don't have to get rid of illegal aliens of every stripe every single day in Minnesota. But there is a concept when you're negotiating with someone of stepping back temporarily to start to strengthen your position. So that's my thought on that. Did I miss anything? CBP was there to support ICE ops. Now that Walz is using local PD to do that, CBP is no longer needed. Bovino is CBP and is just going with the rest of the CBP. No punishment. Well, people are perceiving it as a punishment. And Trump referred to him as being a little bit out there, that's a knock. It's a knock. But if he's able to get negotiating with Walz, getting Walz to go along with helping out ICE, and part of that is I'll move Bovino somewhere else, I think that's a deal you have to take. Fry told Homan that Minneapolis would still not cooperate. Well, we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, that's a fluid situation. But that's an important thing. It's an important thing. We'll see. They either will or they won't. We'll know soon enough. The question is not like, what he says the first 10 minutes. The question is what happens over the next week. I have a feeling Minnesota is not going to be leaving our news cycle for a little bit of a while still. We need to talk about Ilhan Omar, though. We should talk about Ilhan Omar. Okay, so in case you haven't heard, there's all sorts of investigations going on into Ilhan Omar because supposedly she's made a lot of money over the last couple of years. She remarried, and Benny Johnson did a phenomenal breakdown. There's all sorts of rumors swirling around her as to how it is that she suddenly is worth like $30 million. A couple of years ago, she wasn't worth anything. And now she's worth tens of millions. People say because of her husband, but her husband didn't seem to come from money either. Dismissing Bovino is like dismissing Patton. It's not like he was fired. It's not like he was fired. So I think it's a little bit of hyperbole, but I do agree with you that it's a little bit of a slap. It's a little bit of a slap. And the way he handled himself over this weekend, you can understand the slap. That's not to say he's not based and awesome. And that I want to see this guy continue to be a superstar for MAGA. But he didn't handle himself he wasn't at his best this weekend. You got to call a spade a spade. He wasn't. So if you can negotiate and get something by moving him, it makes sense. And you hope that he's mature enough to be okay with it and not like pout about it. I think he will be. Let's share this report that Benny Johnson made because this will astonish you. If you're unfamiliar with the investigation that is starting to swirl around Ilhan Omar, you need to pay close attention to this because this is a story that is rapidly developing and it's gaining traction in far more potentially consequential ways than her crazy marriage brother story or issues with her ballot harvesting. This is something that looks really, really illegal.
Investigated Ilhan Omar's official financial disclosures, and what I found was so dark and criminal. I don't know how she gets out of this without going to jail. Have a look at this. Here's Ilhan Omar's financial disclosure from the Congressional Record, year 2023. I want to bring your attention to this company right down here, Est Crew LLC. This is a winery in Santa Rosa, California It's not doing that well. The total value of the winery is listed at $15,000.
$15,000 to $50,000, and she made between $200 and $1,000.
And Ilhan Omar's barely making any money off of it at all. Hardly enough to pay a parking ticket. Okay, that's fine. Nothing really mysterious there. Businesses fail all the time. But go ahead and look at her filing for 2024, and you'll find that Est Crew Winery, the same company in the same location, is now worth $5 million. That's incredible, up from $15,000. And now Ilhan Omar's making enough to pay rent. So this must be one of the most successful companies ever. Let's go ahead and check.
By the way, he also has highlighted there Rose Lake Capital. He doesn't talk about Rose Lake Capital, but in case you're wondering about the jump in Rose Lake Capital, that went from being worth like $1,000 to being worth $5 to $25 million. Now, capital companies, they can go up, but that's a lot of successful trading. It was 10,000, but the point is it had an insane growth.
$1 billion. That's incredible, up from $15,000. And now Ilhan Omar's making enough to pay rent. So this must be one of the most successful companies ever. Let's go ahead and check in on this winery. You know, maybe we could buy some wine. I like wine. Why not? Let's see if we can buy some Est Crew Winery. Here's Est Crew's social media Facebook page. You'll see here that the last post, oh no, was in 2023.
This is the company which is surging in value, hasn't posted on Facebook in the last 3 years. So while it's been surging in value, they haven't been posting on Facebook. Right? That's one thing.
Wasn't this the year that they were supposed to, you know, go really big and make Ilhan Omar millions of dollars? Same thing on their Instagram, and they don't have an X. So let's go ahead and check their official website.
So the social media basically is showing nothing. That they haven't posted during this time that they had this surge. Now he checks out their website. Okay, maybe they just, you know, have some reason for a surge with other types of marketing, not through social media, which is a little strange in this day and age, but maybe.
What is Est Crew? We are winemakers and memory curators, okay? Est Crew Winery has a bunch of brands that's led by these people, creators of eye-catching labels. So I'm sure I can go and get some of their wine, right? Well, they don't have any activities here, so maybe I can just go to their location and buy some of their wines, or maybe give them a call. Let's try and go to their location here. This is the Google Street View of Est Crew Winery, and what you'll find here is an empty parking lot. Doesn't actually look like an operational business. Certainly isn't the same name. So, okay, let's go ahead and give them a call. See if maybe they pick up. Let's go ahead and call the number on the webpage. Let's go ahead and give them a call and find out. Oh no, user busy. Let's try that. Okay. Well, I've done this like 20 times today. Okay, so that didn't work. Is there any wine in this wine company? Is there anything about wine? Because I see like stuff about events, but like, what is this exactly? Aren't you supposed to sell wine at your wine company? Where are your wines? Oh, there are no wines. You want to know why? Because this is a fake company. Rep. Ilhan Omar's husband accused of swindling investors in their California winery. They stole millions from cannabis growers. You can see here's the lawsuit right here, saying that Tim Minette was Ilhan Omar's third husband, no relation.
That's funny. Third husband, no relation. That is pretty funny. By the way, in case you're wondering, this is the complaint. I pulled the complaint for us to go through the complaint. So we'll see what her husband is accused of doing and the status of that case.
Swindled his investors and defrauded them. How did Minette get this relationship? Well, the current Attorney General of Minnesota, Keith Ellison, used to work for him. Isn't that curious? Keith Ellison, the same guy who refused.
Keith Ellison used to work for this guy.
To look into any of the Somali fraud. So this company was sued for being a fraudulent company. And the New York Post says the exact same thing, as the House is now probing the mystery of Ilhan Omar's skyrocketing wealth. They said that Ilhan Omar went from being one of the most poorest members of Congress, worth negative $65,000, to being one of the richest, worth $30 million. Here's a rare photo of one of their wines that they allegedly made, The Devil's Lie. But the entire company is actually a lie. It's not a lie to Ilhan Omar, though, because she's able to list an enormous amount of her income and an enormous amount of her net worth to this fake winery. This winery is not worth $5 million. The winery doesn't even exist. It's fake. It's fraudulent. They need to investigate this right now. This is a lie. And maybe it's the devil's lie.
So I'll tell you that, you know, in case you're wondering, well, what is this and what's the implications of all this? Like, how do they get the money? You would think that perhaps people who wanted to bribe Ilhan Omar, that they use this as like some sort of shell company. And I'm not saying this is what happened. I don't know. But, you know, a suspicious person might speculate that perhaps if she was being bribed by folks, they would invest money in her company, just move money in there. And all of a sudden, this company is doing really well. Doing really, really well. So that is the speculation that people have, that perhaps she's doing something very, very underhanded and using this shell corporation, which doesn't seem to be doing anything at all, seems to be completely shut down, as her little hideout for getting money. So I did think you might be curious to hear about this complaint, so I figured I'd pull it up. It's not a very long complaint. The complaint names her husband. He was not her husband when he was sued. She married this guy. But he seems to be a winner. Timothy Minette is her husband. No relation. No known relation. This claim is based on defendant's breach of contract failure to pay money owed to plaintiff under the member unit's purchase agreement signed by the parties. Defendants Haler and Minette both personally guarantee the payment owed to plaintiff and are liable to pay any amounts owed to the plaintiff under the contract. Name Mode is the individual whose sole residence is located in the Commonwealth of Virginia. Defendant Est Crew LLC is an LLC organized under the laws of California. Haler is an individual whose sole residence located in the state of California, managing member. Timothy Minette, also managing member, living in Minnesota. The court has personal jurisdiction on defendants because the parties agreed to be subject to any litigation under the contract in the County of Sacramento court. So the reason we're here is because our contract chose in its language that in the event of dispute, this court is where we're going to have this dispute mediated. So that's why we're here. See chat message I'm posting now. What chat message are you posting now? What did I miss? Chat message I'm posting now. I don't see any chat message that you're posting. I'm looking. I missed this also. Maybe with such incidents like Pretti, the agency heads should just start with this matter is under investigation. No comment at this time, and later release any comments through Caroline Levitt. That would be the wise thing to do. Yeah, you don't have to come out right away. Smart. Think it through. I am trying to see if there's a follow-up from you, Gopher. Because I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it. I don't see it. I don't see it, Gopher. All right, I gotta get back to work here. All right, so that's why we're here in this court. On or about September 14, 2021, Plaintiff Mode entered into a membership unit's purchase agreement. On YouTube chat, I'm looking. I'm not sure what you're asking of me. I'm looking in the YouTube chat. I'm trying. I'm not seeing it in the YouTube chat. I don't know what you're trying to tell me, brother. I scrolled up to see up above if there's something that you were looking for from me, and I don't see that either. Trying to be responsive, but it's also like I don't know what you want me to do. All right. On or about September 14th, Mode entered the membership unit's purchase agreement with S Crew. All right, you're posting it. We'll post it. The agreement was signed by William Haler and Timothy Minette, managing members. Parties agreed upon execution of the agreement. Plaintiff Mode would purchase 20,000 membership units of S Crew for the price of $300,000. It's hard to know what that is without knowing how many units are in S Crew altogether. Parties further agreed that within 18 months of the execution of the agreement, S Crew would pay Plaintiff Mode a return on his investment equal to 200% of his initial investment of $300,000. So he's going to invest $200,000 and get back $600,000 within 3 months. It sounds like loan sharking, but defendants knew this statement to be false. Plaintiff relied on this statement to his detriment when he gave defendants $300,000. By March 2023, Plaintiff Mode was to receive $900,000. Plaintiffs agreed that 10% monthly interest will be imposed on any money not paid to Mode by the deadline. So basically, he sounds like a loan shark, this guy. Both William Haler, but legalized because it's an investment in a company. Both William Haler and Timothy Minette personally guaranteed the return of Plaintiff Mode's investment to Mr. Mode. Haler and Minette knew they would not pay Plaintiff the money they promised to pay. After execution of this agreement, Plaintiff Mode wired the $300,000 to S Crew to their bank. The initial investment, $300,000, was due to Plaintiff Mode on about September 30th, 2022. However, they didn't get that back. Defendants, despite numerous assurances to Plaintiff that they would pay him the money, the remaining money owed, have not paid him the $600,000 return owed to him. Mode was only invested the money because he was receiving a return of $200,000. So that was his detrimental reliance on their promises. This remaining unpaid amount is subject to 10% monthly interest since March 2023. As a result, defendants failed to pay the money owed to plaintiff. He's owed $780,000. In and around July and August 2023, Haler stated to plaintiff that in order to sell the company and get plaintiff to sign a redemption agreement for his shares, that's not a sentence. In around July, August 2023, Will Haler stated to plaintiff that in order to sell the company and get plaintiff to sign a redemption agreement for his shares, that what? Haler stated upon the advice of counsel J, they could not close unless plaintiff signed the redemption agreement. At all times, I'm not sure what he's trying to say here. To be honest with you, it's not really very well written by plaintiff's attorneys. At all times, they represented the closing would take place on September 29th. At all times, defendants never stated that there was any issue with closing taking place. Then Sunday, October 2nd, defendants stated closing did not take place without any explanation. So apparently they were supposed to be getting money at a closing and they were going to use that to pay him off, and that didn't happen. Upon information believed, defendants conspired and conducted this scheme of having plaintiffs sign the redemption agreement in order to keep him from filing a suit against them. Okay, so I guess they're saying that he was duped into signing off on some agreement and now he's been screwed because of them. Plaintiff reiterates the allegations set forth in paragraphs 1 through 23. Plaintiffs have valid contract. Mode performed his end by giving $300,000. Defendants breached by not giving him the $900. That was due back. And the defendants breached contract claim causing plaintiffs significant damages of at least $780,000. I don't know why it's only $780, but it sounds like it should be more than that, right? So that's a breach of contract claim. And then there's a fraud claim saying defense fraudulently misrepresented that Escrew was a legitimate company. Okay. Defendant knew his statement to be false and made the statements with the intent to induce plaintiff to give him $300,000. Plaintiff justifiably relied on it, and therefore we're owed this money. That's the complaint. That was filed in 2023, late 2023. You want to know what's going on with this case? I don't know what's going on. Here's a statement of undisputed claims. Here's the statement of undisputed facts, which basically goes through all the things that the other side doesn't even disagree with us on. This is what the plaintiff is saying. They don't disagree with us about these facts. That they signed the agreement, that they got the money, that he was supposed to be getting $900,000. So this seems like a pretty open and shut deal. What happened since then? And they're moving summary judgment if it's contended that the action has no merit or there's no defense to the action of proceeding, so they're looking for summary judgment. What happened? They went to mediation. What happened as a result of mediation? Case was dropped. The plaintiff seems to have dropped the case, which means he got paid off, almost certainly. Because here he is on the verge of getting summary judgment. They paid him off. So my net or his partner, someone, paid him off, almost certainly. Speculation, because mediation is a closed deal. The public doesn't get to see what terms what the final terms are. But I'll tell you right now, they were on the verge of starting to set a trial date, and now they mediate, and the plaintiff is withdrawing the case. Why would you withdraw it unless you got paid off? So I think they probably got paid off. No, I don't mean the judge got paid off. I mean the parties. I mean my net probably paid off Mode the money that he owed him to make this go away. Well, settlement probably came as a result of mediation. So they probably went to mediation, sat down, and they said, what can we pay you to make this thing go away? The plaintiff gave a number. They probably haggled over it, and then they came up with a number, and then they paid him. So, but it does mean that, there probably was some, that's almost certainly what happened here. That's speculation based on my experience as a litigator as to, based on the filings that I see here, how, where they were in the trial, the positions that they were taking as recently as, this is the Sacramento records, okay? So, request for dismissal here was made in November. First, he put this case management statement in October of 2023. Then he has case management statements this is what we're just looking. That was just in September of 2024. Okay. So September 2024, he makes that statement. And then 2 months later, he moves for a dismissal. So if you move for dismissal, that means why would you be moving for dismissal when you say, hey, I have a slam dunk case, give me judgments right away? The reason you move for dismissal is because you say, hey, they paid me. So this is their request for dismissal. And he references in his request for dismissal yeah. I saw a different document where he referenced that he went for mediation. And mediation is where he got paid. Almost certainly. Well, this is not how they launder money into politics. The company, this dead company, is how they can launder money into politics. It could be. If you ask me my subjective opinion, I'm not saying this is a fact because I don't know this to be the case. I never did research. This is consistent with everything about how you would launder money to a politician. Does he make an investment? I think this deal, I don't think this first deal was that. This first deal was before Timothy Minette was married to Ilhan Omar, I think they were looking to borrow money and having like a massive loan. Like, and this guy's a loan shark. I think the plaintiff there is a loan shark. So that's why I think the company was basically an investment that you're going to pay back 3 times as much money in 6 months. That's a loan shark. You're guaranteeing you're paying back in 6 months. That's a loan shark. So that's what I think happened there. Especially they say he's a weed dealer. This plaintiff mode, he's a weed dealer. He probably has lots of cash. So yeah. J.H. Schwalbeck says, Joe, it's all about you and we love it. Oh, good. Thanks. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. Feeling a certain way about this. I see that that Gopher is asking me to check out Crime Watch MPLS. You want me to check that out on X, on YouTube? Where am I looking at that? That was one. Only 30 more likes to hit 600. Cool. Let's do it. Let's do it. Yesterday we got over 1,000, which is awesome. We should get at least 600 today. And if you're here and you can subscribe, I'd be most obliged. What else to it? So I'm sort of torn about this goal. I'm torn about the goal tonight. So I would be winding down now. I'm torn about the goal. So we really made it halfway there. Then he sent me 100. So I sort of feel like we sort of got after the goal. After the goal ended, we did get a bunch of 10s and 20s. So I'm going to count this as if we hit the goal. I'm going to count as if we hit the goal. I'm declaring goal. Goal! I'm declaring goal. I know if you're looking on YouTube, it looks like we got 8 out of 15. But that doesn't count the fact that some of those chats were a little bit larger. One in particular from Century Bro was very large. And it doesn't really count for the stuff that came in after the 2-hour mark. So I think all in all, it's appropriate for me to honor the goal as if satisfied in a timely fashion. And accordingly, I think we're going to have to watch Legal Eagle. We're going to have to watch Legal Eagle. But I did promise one more thing. Oh, there was one more thing I almost forgot with respect to Ilhan Omar. I know you're asking me to check out Crime Watch MPLS. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with Crime Watch Minneapolis. I don't know. On YouTube, Crime Watch Minneapolis. Hasn't put up a video in 2 years. So I don't know. I don't know. You want me to check on X? Anthony James Kazmarchak, 55, is being held in third-degree assault after spraying an unknown liquid from a syringe onto Representative Ilhan Omar during a town hall earlier this evening. This is what I was planning on sharing. This is the video I was planning on sharing. If this is where you were going. So we're talking about Ilhan Omar. I just going to say what you're about to see here is not cool. Okay, I hate Ilhan Omar. She's a terrible human being. She's crooked as a crooked as a $4 bill. But she's a thief and she's a terrible influence on this country. And there are countless reasons to throw her in prison or deport her and get rid of her. She's just a complete and total abomination of a human being. And that being said, what you're about to see should not happen. This is wrong.
Secretary.
Now, I don't know if this guy is MAGA or not, the person you're about to see. Here she's complaining about Kristi Noem. I don't know if this guy's MAGA or it's some Jussie Smollett type of situation that we're going to see here, which could be. I don't know. We're about to see her get attacked by a dude.
Kristi Noem must resign or face impeachment. Fucking asshole. I don't know.
Oh my God, he's sprayed something on her.
I need a napkin to know nothing.
No, we will. No. You need to go get checked.
No, we will continue. These fucking assholes are not going to get away with it.
You need to go get checked. No, I don't know what. No.
Secretary Kristi Noem must resign or face impeachment.
What you see here is him squirting her. You see that squirt? That's him squirting her with something here. So no one knows what he squirted her with. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if this is just some plant in order to get her some sympathy and portray MAGA as being terrible. But if it was, whoever attacked her, this is wrong. It was wrong. And that's what I'm saying. Is it possible it was staged by Omar? 100%. She's very crooked. She would love to have the I'm such a victim. And could someone look more like a victim without facing any real consequence in any more way than this? Right? I mean, the guy might have squirted water on her. Oh my God, I'm such a victim. So, you're right, it's not wrong if it's staged. That's correct, Malcolm. That's true. I'm just saying the idea that someone would purposefully try to harm her is wrong. All right, walk us through. Why do you guys think it's so obvious? And this is the thing also. She didn't know what it was. She would have hurried to get it off. I think that's an interesting point. I think that I had the same thought. She seems very blasé about it. I'm okay. I'm a trooper. So you're saying her reaction was too calm. I think it's staged. Yeah, that was the other thing I thought was weird also. She walks toward him, not away as he approaches her. And then she walks after him also. Like, that doesn't make sense. It was too calm. We can look at it again. Let's watch it again.
Secretary Kristi Noem must resign or face impeachment.
Yeah, that she starts running up to punch him. Like, what is that? What is this? With her little girly punch? She doesn't think it might be acid? She sprayed with eau de mendacity. That's funny.
I I don't know.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. He's
Yeah.
Or face impeachment.
Anyhow, so they're saying they arrested this guy. His name is James Kazmierczak. You find any social media on this guy, you think? Apparently there's a bunch of them. I wouldn't think there were so many James Kazmierczaks, but apparently there's a bunch. Is it this guy? Maybe? They said he's 55, right? So maybe that'll help us. Colonel James Kazmierczak. That could be him. Dak. I don't know what we're getting out of this. That could be him. I don't know. I don't know, folks. I don't know. Some people are saying it looked real to me. I'm reading the chat. The timing of this is very convenient for Ilhan Omar, isn't it? Timing is very convenient for her. Garner sympathy when the whole world is circling around her for being a fraudster. It's very convenient. Anthony James? Did I get it wrong? Is that what you're trying to say? I did miss the Anthony. All right, that is a big deal. All right, shut up. Read the chat, Boomer. So this guy's got no social media footprint. That's curious. That's curious. I don't know. Reports of a vinegar-like odor. Maybe it was vinegar. So vinegar-like odor, and she's not concerned at all? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. I think it's a significant possibility that this is Jussie Smollett. I'll bet you $20 he's homeless, mental, and won't be able to identify who paid him. All right, this is a good poll for you guys. Start a poll. Here's my poll. Okay. Was the attack on Ilhan staged? Yes. No. And then probably not. Not sure. All right. There's your poll. I'll check the ghetto to see what you guys think. Staged or not staged? Staged or not staged? Zone says, Joe, it came hours after this report from Fox. Let's see what we got here. VCU nurse fired after referencing paralytic drug in video instructing sabotage of ICE agents. A nurse at VCU Health has been fired after making a series of videos suggesting ways to harm ICE agents. Following investigation, the individual involved in social media videos no longer employed by VCU Health. On Tuesday morning, the hospital said the VCU police were investigating the nurse over the post after they went viral on X. This freaking lunatic. VCU police are assisting with this investigation. University continuing per policy while the investigation is underway. Individual is on administrative leave and will not be in our facilities or interacting with patients. Well, thank God for that. The nurse in question used a now deleted TikTok account, Redhead Redemption, and was quickly identified as an employee of VCU. We don't get her name. In one video, simply captioned with ICE resistance sabotage, nurse instructed others to use sabotage tactic against opponents. I thought it was something good, she said. You lunatic. Another video where she's dressed in scrubs, she's just using poison ivy to infect others. Okay, for today's resistance tip, I vote. And everybody got any poison ivy, poison oak? Get some of that with gloves, obviously, and get in some water, like a gallon of water, and then get poison ivy oak water. And I'm going to put it in a water gun and aim for faces and hands. What a sicko. This woman is demented. This woman is really demented. Sick. People are so twisted. It's a nurse. We need to know that woman's name. Okay. I really, really need to I need to start working. I'm almost 3 hours in, and I haven't even started doing my breakdown of Legal Eagle. So I've got to put everything else aside. I hope I cover what you were looking for me to cover there. Gopher.
What is basically the execution of Alex Pretti. I know all of us have seen the videos of what is basically the execution of Alex Pretti. I've seen it.
He was kind of not a good guy, though.
From more angles and more times than I care to repeat. I'm not going to give an in-depth frame-by-frame analysis. You don't need a lawyer to tell you what you can see with your own eyes, which is that it was an inexcusable state-sanctioned murder. There is
Wow. I'm just giving up on being a lawyer. I'm just going to tell you with your own eyes, you can see it's a state-sanctioned murder. Wow. Just throw in the towel.
no excuse.
There's plenty of excuses. There are plenty of excuses. We heard all sorts of explanations as to how there's plenty of excuses. Especially if this guy was some deranged psycho who had interacted with these ICE agents last week, if not more recently.
No justification.
No, that's definitely not true also. We actually received his law degrees by sending it in soda box tops. This guy, he's gotten so bad. So bad.
It is the latest in what is probably a long line. This one happens to have been videotaped.
Long line of what?
By many brave bystanders.
I don't know why it helps you. You were not willing to break it down legally. You're just saying anyone can see is murder. Anyone can see. What I see here is just like death of the legal profession when I look at you.
As you can tell, I'm not in my studio.
Yeah, he looks like he's an aspen.
I was on a plane yesterday. Oh God, it's cold out here. It's 0 degrees, which is
he's crying. Oh no.
Still 10 degrees warmer than it is in Minneapolis right now. But in some sense, I do this for a living. I analyze the videos that are out there and think about things from a legal perspective. And I saw the first video when it came out. It was pretty clear.
No, it's not pretty clear at all. I can't even figure out what the hell I'm looking at. I've looked at these 3 videos 16 different times, and I'm not sure what the hell happened here. Who fired the first shot? Who did?
With any video taken from across the street, there's some ambiguity. And
there's ambiguity because there's 6 people all pummeling. Everyone's moving around. It's dynamic. But you're saying anyone can see his murder. That's what you open this video with.
But I think the second video came out. In the second video, you can hear that.
Why are you crying? Good Lord. Why are you crying? This is insanity. This guy's lost the plot.
Alex Pretti's last words were, "Are you okay?"
Yeah, his words before that were "F you, pig." The stupidest thing in the world. So what? That's his last words. Yeah, he would look out for his friends and basically spit and assault people who were not his friends. I'm just saying what's reported that he did a week earlier. And he's an idiot that he sees he gets into altercations with ICE and then takes a gun. So, next time let me ratchet it up. Sorry, the guy's a fool.
Which he said to...
I don't think he's a terrorist. I just think he's a fool.
The woman that was next to him, who had been pushed down by...
I don't know if that's the last words he said, by the way. He probably said other words while he was being pummeled, while he was resisting arrest. I'm fairly certain there's a good chance he said other stuff. You just couldn't hear it because of the whistles.
The ICE or CBP officer who was acting unhinged, where Alex Pretti just has his phone out and his left arm is free. I think those were his last words. And
why would you think that? You think he didn't say anything during like the 40 seconds there that he's in an altercation with police? He didn't say any word at all. At the very least, maybe say "ow." I don't know. Maybe he said something. I'm just saying. I'm not happy the guy's dead, but you're making me turn this into a joke.
I think those were his last acts. Was trying to help the woman.
No, his last act was trying to stand up to ICE. Those were his last acts. His last act was trying to stand up to ICE. Now, Nate will tell you, and he could be correct, that he had a right to do that, but his last act wasn't trying to help a woman. It was trying to stand up to ICE. Hey, Lori, welcome. Welcome to the following. Welcome indeed. Omar placed herself in front of a potential attacker with a potentially deadly weapon and immediately aggressively defended herself, yet she totally demonized the ICE agent in the Renee Good incident. Yeah, that's a good question. That's a great point, Piano Dean. I like it. Yeah, he went after her. Why shouldn't the cop go after that woman?
That was pushed down by the man in the green sweatshirt, who I think eventually was the first agent who shot him.
I don't know that. I don't know how you know that. No one can tell that. This is what I'm saying. You think it's so clear it's murder. No one knows. We're still not even sure what the hell happened there.
And like I said, I'm not going to go frame by frame.
Yeah, because you go frame by frame, it's not quite as romanticized as you're trying to put it.
But to my eyes, the last thing that Alex Pretti did was...
I don't know how he staged himself crying this much. Because there's obviously cuts and stuff like that. This is crazy.
To help others. And look, my legal analysis doesn't change when the victim is, a bank robber or a saint.
Of course it changes. It changes whether a Democrat or Republican. We've seen it. We've seen it over and over again.
Everyone deserves the same.
If this was Trump, you would not be having the same thing. If this happened to Trump, you would not be having the same analysis. You would not be saying we just saw a state-sanctioned murder. If this had, God forbid, happened to Trump 2 years ago. Never. Never in a million years.
Rights.
You're so full of crap.
And it doesn't just...
I just get off of your stupid soapbox. Oh my God. How does anyone stand to listen to this BS artist? What nonsense. What utter nonsense. We've seen how retarded you can be in your takes if you don't like Trump. How insane those takes can be. Oh, lunatic.
Justify or justify less.
That's the way it should be, but that's the way ideally it should be. And over here, your take is again, it's twisted because you're upset about who was killed. It was an ICE agent that was killed this way. Would you be crying? Would you be crying if it was an ICE agent was killed this way?
Actions of what happened, but it does.
Let's say 6 members of a mob, of an anti-ICE mob, had done this to an ICE agent. Would you be crying?
Heighten the loss of what happened,
Doofus.
and the people whose rights are being taken away and their lives are being taken away.
My right to get a fair legal breakdown from you is being taken away. Make sounds great again. Oh my God, I'm getting dumber and dumber just listening to this BS. Wow. This is, I didn't realize it was going to be quite this painful. I don't know who these people are. Silberto, Villegas, Gonzalez, Keith Porter. I don't know who these people are.
So look, I'm going to try and gather some thoughts, which...
Please try to compose yourself because it's obviously very stressful. It's very difficult for you to actually gather yourself together here. This is so difficult. Oh my gosh. You try to just grin it, just gut it out. Gut it out for us, Devin. Gut it out.
I'm only going to do because I think a lot of people are, thinking the same thing, whether you're
Well, you're supposed to be a lawyer here, so act like a professional.
A lawyer or a layperson. I think we're all absolutely enraged, not only by...
Not remotely enraged. I'm actually disappointed. I'm disappointed in you. And my position on this is a terrible tragedy that this man's stupidity got him killed. But
the loss of Alex Pretti, but Renee Good and everyone else who has been, pushed aside and has been caught in this web of what is clearly illegal action.
It's clearly illegal action. Well, we would know whether it's illegal action if you tried doing some sort of legal breakdown here. To me, this looks like suicide by cop.
From our federal government. Like I said, it doesn't change the legal analysis, but it does say something that Alex Pretti and Renee Good before him seem to be the best of us.
Oh my God, no way in hell is that true. You're a freaking lunatic. You just left the reservation. The best of us? She tries running over a cop. That's the best of us? You're a sicko. You're a sicko. You're demented. You have really lost the plot. Wow. The best of us? The best of us? Oh my God. This guy who comes with 63 bullets to be a legal observer is the best of us? It's sad. What is sad? No, they are far from the best of us. As are you.
And there's a reason why
maybe the groups he hangs out with, they're the best of them. I don't know. I can't speak for his circles.
Gunned down. It's because they put themselves out there.
Like idiots, because they acted irresponsibly and recklessly, because they made cops feel as if they were going to kill the cop. That's why. Because they stupidly put themselves in that position. But I guess perhaps anyone who follows you, that would be the best of them.
And by God, that's commendable. And we need to continue to stand up because they did too. And look, you don't need to be a lawyer to know that their shootings were not justified. But
100%, I doofus. Are you actually going to give legal analysis here, or are you just going to sit here crying like some wokester who's like just is upset that the price of hair dye has gone up?
I think we need to take a step back too to recognize that, ICE and CBP shouldn't have been there in the first place.
Why? No, I'll tell you this much. You're right. They should have been turned over to ICE and CBP. You could blame Tim Walz for that. Idiot. Let's just have unfettered, unchecked illegal aliens just roaming all over our country.
They have no right and no duty to do crowd control, to be on the front lines using weapons.
What does that even mean?
Against
the front lines. The front lines came to them. This was like an invasion from a wannabe army. Front lines came to them. And front and center of the front lines, there was Alex Pretti.
Protesters? These people should...
They're not protesters. They're impeders. They're impeders. There was nothing to protest. There was no one there. You don't have a protest of 4 people. That's not a protest.
Not be armed. We've sort of grown inured to it, but...
No, it's true. You can go there with arms, but you better damn well make sure that you're not going to be making yourself a target by pretending that you're by rising up when you get into a conflagration with ICE. Doofus. This is the stupidest. This is just not even. He's not even trying anymore.
They are not enforcing criminal law, even when they are enforcing immigration laws, which they are not right now. It is.
They're not
state-sponsored. Protest control of...
What are you talking about? Just because they're trying to engage in lawful activity and people are trying to protest against them, so that means they're in protest control? You're retarded. This guy's gotten really stupid.
People exercising their First Amendment rights. At best,
pathetic.
they are enforcing regulatory and civil laws, and there's no reason they should have...
It's not regulatory and civil laws. You're making it as if there's like no crime. There is a crime. There is a crime. You're not allowed to be here. I'm so tired of them saying it's a misdemeanor or that this is not a crime. I mean, first and foremost, a misdemeanor is a crime. It is a crime. So I understand that we treat the penalties as if it's a civil penalty, but that doesn't mean it's not a crime. What the hell are you talking about? This, oh God. How many errors of law can you make in the first 5 minutes when you're not giving legal analysis? We all need to stand up. Well, not me. I'm obviously sitting, but you poor people go forth and perish for my causes. Yeah, you're just like this guy's just like Tim Walz.
Have firearms in the first place. I don't even think should have less lethals like pepper balls, and they shouldn't be using tear gas and pepper.
Yeah, they should just let a crowd just pound on their cars and surround them, right? How can anyone take you seriously when you're saying they have no right to be there in the first place? Seriously, how can anyone take anything you say seriously when you give such retarded analysis?
Spray and bear spray on protesters. That's insane.
No, you're insane. You're insane for basically saying that they don't have a right to use any of that. That's been used every single time when you're dealing with a protest that gets rowdy. Police have been doing that but long before you or I were born, Devin. It happened all the time in the 60s. Doofus.
It would be as if we gave every postal worker and every person who delivers the mail, an AR-15. They don't need it to
What are you talking about?
Complete their duties, and it's insane.
Really? Oh, because none of these people are violent. The ones they're going after, none of them are violent, even though they're targeting like the worst criminals first. This is insanity. This is an insane political take from a guy who's a would-be lawyer.
That they have been armed and are wearing flak jackets and
I'm apologizing because I feel like I'm making all of you dumber here. I mean, I guess you have my analysis here to basically point out the stupidity of what he's saying. I'm trying to keep you safe. I should create a t-shirt, mark safe from Legal Eagle. I'm here to mark you safe from Legal Eagle. God, this is terrible. Hey, Joe, please tell me you saw the video of the woman grabbing the flashbang and trying to throw it back, and boom, there it goes in her hand. Timcast had a quick 10-minute video on it. I did not see it, but now I got to check it out. But I'm not doing that tonight because I'm already more than 3 hours in here.
Are obviously wearing masks for no other reason than to obscure their identity and prevent.
So that they don't get doxxed and harassed because they can't even go to a hotel without being harassed? You're such a jackass.
And accountability. Obviously, the shootings are
nothing to do with accountability. It's a matter of the fact that the lunatics who you're siding with here, who are defending, who are standing up to protect the worst child predators, murderers, rapists, the people who you're standing with here, who are trying to protect them, are so insane that they literally go to a hotel and bang on a pan through the night to keep ICE awake. That's the idiots that you're siding with here, you big fat stupid.
Their situation that recently Alex Pretti unfortunately found himself in, and the woman next to him, they should not have been pushed aside.
They shouldn't have been there. Frankly, they have their legal right to be there. They shouldn't have been there. Now, I want to be clear about this. They have a legal right to be there. There's nothing illegal about that, but they shouldn't have been there. The only reason they were there is because there is a group of folks who believe they're in a freaking army who are sending people out like members of an army, like sentries, or to go harass ICE wherever they can. It's not a protest. It's to basically harass ICE wherever they can. So they shouldn't have been there. In a sane world, they would not have been there. Ridiculous. You should be blaming Tim Walz for this. That's what you should be doing.
By these putative federal officers for exercising their First Amendment rights. They should not have been restrained. They should not have been pepper sprayed while they were restrained. And of course,
well, now you're starting to draw all these subjective conclusions, which may or may not be true. It may be true. I don't know. Depends on what happened. If they're trying to clear the road justifiably, then they can be. You don't know what led up to that. You don't know anything that led up to that. Imagine his president was about the postal inspector who armed. Yeah. Doofus.
They should not have been shot and murdered while they were prone and restrained.
No, they weren't. You're coming to a legal conclusion here that they were murdered rather than shot in self-defense. Justifiable self-defense. Doesn't make it not a tragedy. I think it was a tragedy. I think it was a terrible tragedy. I'm not happy that Alex Pretti is dead. But I'm saying that you're sitting here saying that it's a state-sanctioned murder and that the reason they cover their faces is that they can get away with state-sanctioned murder, which is an insane conclusion. You're literally delusional.
None of that. The entire situation should not have happened. 3,000 ICE and CBP officers should not have been deployed to Minneapolis in the
Why not?
first place.
Why
I
not?
will echo.
Are you gonna pretend that that was also illegal? Doofus.
What some legal commentators have said. This is basically stochastic terrorism. If you send 3,000 untrained psychopaths with guns into a place where
You see this lunacy here? What makes you think that any of them are white nationalist, pumped on with white nationalist propaganda? It's not white nationalist propaganda. Tell them to escalate and kick ass. It's actually, it's just nationalist propaganda. That's what it is. This is what happens when Walls goes out there and tells people they should be going out there and protest and harassing them. This is what happens when Democrats spend years saying, you get up in their face. You get up in their face. This is what happens. People engaging in lawful federal activity, trying to keep our cities and our country safe from from raving lunatics who we have no idea who the hell they are. And you're sitting here claiming that anyone who's trying to get rid of them is engaged in terrorism. F you. You're sickening.
this is basically stochastic terrorism. If you send 3,000 untrained psychopaths with guns.
What makes them untrained? Well, what makes you say they're untrained? They seem to have shown remarkable restraint so far. Remarkable restraints. Thank you, Liz. I just want to give you this just because I'm blessed. I'm called to bless others. So here, thank you. Thank you very, very much. Let me hear another horn here. Wow, I didn't expect his whole stupid crying video to get me this angry. I should have.
Into a place where people are angry, where they are not effectuating the law.
No, those people are the ones who've been ratcheted up. They're ratcheted up by the like of Tim Walz and Jacob Fry. They're the ones who've been ratcheted up, doofus.
You don't know who's going to die, but you know that people are going to die.
And that's Walz's fault. That's Tim Walz's fault. You know what? It's actually your fault, Devin. It's your fault for promoting this here with this ridiculous narrative. It's your fault when the next person dies. It's your fault, Devin.
And I think that President Trump and I think that Stephen Miller have blood on their hands.
I think you have blood on your hands. I think you have blood on your hands. So you're sitting here pretending that what they're doing here is remotely normal. You're sitting here pretending that it's remotely normal for someone to strap himself with guns a week after he gets into a conflict with ICE agents, to strap himself with guns, find on a phone, where can I track down ICE agents so I can engage them and meet them while I'm carrying this gun? And then you think that that's normal. You think that that's okay. And that the people who are trying to get rid of illegal aliens, folks who are not supposed to be in this country, who are raiding our country's coffers by engaging in fraud, engaging in crime, and at the very least, bleeding our country, bleeding it financially dry, while engaging in violent crimes. And that those are the good guys, those are the heroes here. F you. And that people should be marching out there and protecting them. F you, Devin. Disgusting. You're sitting here pretending that white nationalists who are ratcheting up their hate, 3,000 untrained hotheads, you know what the hell you're talking about. They showed remarkable restraint. You want to know how we know there's been remarkable restraint? Because there's only been two. And both of them are arguably completely legally justified. You know what I mean? You're too lazy to actually even do the homework on that. Instead, you're sitting here white knighting for these lunatic army LARPers who have their whole stupid little signal chat while they're having in between calming sessions where they sit with some stupid Zen master who's teaching them how to breathe, and they're going out there and they're basically saying, "Oh, we're going to go follow ICE around. We're going to go follow Greg Bovino around. We're going to go to the hotels where they are and be banging like a bunch of lunatics trying to just make them crazy." because there's actually a president who's following the mandate that came from 70 million people saying we don't want these people in our country anymore. We do not want illegal aliens here. If you're a citizen, great, welcome, we love you, but we don't want illegal aliens here anymore. That's a mandate that the majority of the country came out for. It was so significant that the Republican who never wins the popular vote won the popular vote this time. But you're sitting here simping for the people who are standing up for literally child rapists. You're simping for the people who don't care that they're defending murderers, people who beat women, who do traffic women. You're sitting here simping for all those kids who were drug trafficked. You cry for any of those? The hundreds of thousands of kids who were drug trafficked under Biden while this whole invasion was coming into our country in the first place? Where are your tears for that? Tell me about the best of us. This Pretti fool, who then says, "Oh, I'm going to go out with an army. Why don't you just put on your little hockey mask there, your little hockey pants, and put on your stupid mask, and think, oh, I'm a big brave guy here with my 6.32 bullets." And don't you touch that woman. I'm going to sit here getting an altercation with ICE while I'm carrying a gun. Stupid. Now you're sitting here basically setting up for there to be another Alex Pretti next week. With your stupid little tears. Oh, you're crying away to 2 million views on YouTube. Sickening. Disgusting.
Because this is what they wanted. It's honestly incredible.
No, this is what you want. This is what Tim Walz wants. Because if this is what Trump wanted, there'd be a lot more dead Minnesotans already. Bending over backwards, trying to figure out how, despite the fact that these lunatics who change their positions every 10 minutes, because whatever it is that Trump says, we have to jump into the opposite. No matter how insane it is, no matter how retarded it is, we have to jump into the opposite of that and then start screaming how he's Hitler. Start screaming how he's Orange Man bad, because he's saying the opposite of whatever he's saying is just Orange Man bad, Hitler, racist, Nazi, nationalist, white nationalist, ratcheting up all this other nonsense here. And you are the king of this. You're the head queen here, coming out here with that same lunacy. The reason Alex Pretti is dead is because of you, Legal Eagle. You and your ilk, who come out there ratcheting up your audience into saying you're totally right to standing up there. You can't. You're too lazy to even give a legal analysis here. Instead, coming out here crying. Oh, wait, we got a little snap. We got a break. Okay, let me ratchet up the tears again. It's so terrible. Sickening. Pretending that the Renee Good shooting, there was something flawed in that. There's no self-defense claim there. So you go out there and basically tell those people, you're right. Go out there. Confront more. He's Hitler. They're white nationalists. They're racist. They're Nazis. They're Gestapo. Go out there. They're right. Stand up for yourself. That's what this guy's encouraging here. Sickening, disgusting. So he makes you know how much he makes from this video? You know how much he makes from this video already? How many views this stupid thing have? 2.6 million views. You know what he made from making this stupid little tear-filled video so far? Figure a minimum of $8 for every 1,000 views. Okay? A minimum of $8. That doesn't even include his sponsors. Okay? So this jackass over here who's ratcheting up people to say that Trump is evil, Trump is wrong, and this was obviously clearly murder. So what do you want to know what this freaking grifter makes from all this? I'm going to pull out a calculator here because I want to make sure I get my numbers right. I don't want to get any numbers wrong here. So it's basically, instead of 2.6 million, it's 2,600. It's basically like 26. You divide that by for 1,000 views, take off 3 zeros. So it's basically 2,600 times $10 minimum. They made $26,000 from this video so far. And that doesn't include whatever sponsors he has. This guy made $30,000 from this one stupid video. Trump is so evil. This is obviously murder. This stupid video. By the time he finished calculating all the money he gets from this one video, it's more than like it's practically what the median person makes in a year. The $50,000-$60,000 he'll make from this one stupid video. I feel so terrible for Alex Pretti. Meanwhile, setting up for there to be another Alex Pretti next week, jackass. Instead of pointing fingers at Tim Walz or Jacob Fry and say, hey, you know what, you're ratcheting people up. No, you wouldn't do that because they're doing exactly what you're doing. Exactly what you're doing. Sickening.
That the people of Minneapolis and Minnesota have shown as much restraint as they have. And
as much restraint as they have with their continual whistleblowing, with their pounding on the hotels, with their pounding on the cars, with their harassing ICE left and right. Oh, so much restraint. Oh, so much restraint. What could they have done that would have been less restrained? They start firing on ICE? Oh, that's happened. So much restraint. Sickening. Oh, kudos to them. Oh, kudos. Such heroes. Such restraint.
Not taken the bait, and they have not
taken the
responded
bait
to violence.
What bait? What bait?
With violence, and that's incredible.
Incredible.
And it deserves commendation, not the least of which because they're not going to be the last.
Yeah, you're making sure there are going to be more. You're doing everything you can to make sure there'll be more.
It's going to come to other cities, predominantly blue and majority Democratic cities.
Because they're the ones who are not working with
ICE
federal government.
And CBP are doing is a terror campaign. It is a pretext that they are effectuating.
You're a pretext that you actually care about any of these people. This whole video of yours is a pretext that you actually care about any of these people.
Anything related to immigration at this point.
Sickening
And also, I will point out that there are a lot of people.
Tell us where you get your suits now. Tell us where you get your suits so we can tack on another $10,000 you make from this video.
Doing a lot of good. There are a lot of lawyers working overtime. Right after this happened, lawyers who had already received a temporary restraining order saying that ICE could not employ unconstitutional methods to restrain and punish all of the protesters, filed a emergency motion with the Court of Appeals to lift an administrative stay that was put in place, which is a thing that often happens. And it's insane that they would need a TRO in the first place to restrain these people en masse from conducting unconstitutional raids and unconstitutional.
No, they got a TRO. The TRO that they got was lifted by the appellate court, saying that you know what the hell you're talking about. It's a retarded TRO.
Constitutional methods, but the declarations from people who were on the scene and saw Alex Pretti shot with their own eyes. It's crazy that lawyers would respond within a few hours and get that in front of a judge. It's also
crazy that they think they're going to win, or that you think that there's any sort of chance for it.
Parallel litigation from the Minnesota Bureau in charge of the investigation that was stymied by ICE, which is another thing for another day. Within a few hours, they had a motion in front of a judge seeking a temporary restraining order to prevent ICE from destroying evidence because they already mucked up the crime scene. The declarations and affidavits from people.
They mucked up the crime. You're saying when there was a protest that came, they came storming down the street 20 minutes later? What'd you want them to do? Fight with them? Doofus.
People in support of that are also incredible. And another incredible thing that is within 2 hours, a Trump-appointed judge granted the TRO. And, you know, these are not perfect mechanisms. It's something that in the past has helped to prevent ICE from...
And 10 minutes later, it got overturned.
Destroying evidence, which I think they did in the case of Jonathan Ross when they took all of the stuff out of his house and put it God knows where. It probably goes without saying, but it's...
There's no case against Jonathan Ross. Any attorney knows there's no case, literally no case against Jonathan Ross for the shooting of Renee Good.
Unfortunate, and it's crazy that we cannot trust federal officers in the first place, but we also cannot trust them to investigate. There are also things that Congress can and should do immediately. Obviously, they should not fund ICE in the future, but that's the table stakes. We need to have serious curtailment of the immunity that exists. Federal officers do not have absolute immunity, but they do have strong immunity, and it is incredibly difficult to sue the federal government when you have had your constitutional rights deprived. Obviously, there's qualified immunity on a state level when state actors do that. It would be...
Oh, wow. Look at this. We're 9 minutes in. He's starting to quote some law now. Let me pay attention.
unbelievably easy for Congress to amend the current laws to provide a right of action for people to be able to sue, to remove qualified immunity unnecessarily, and to prevent all this stuff in the future.
I'm fine with qualified immunity being removed. I'm fine with that. But somehow you never call the Biden administration to do that. Why is that? Why is that? But the whole point about removing qualified immunity is kind of stupid when it comes to it's pretty stupid. Here's why, okay? With this brilliant insight from this political analysis from Legal Eagle. And he knows better than anyone else why removing qualified immunity is really just lip service. You want to know why it's just lip service? And he knows better than anyone else because he does personal injury law. I don't do personal injury law. I used to. I don't do he does it. You tell me, Devin. You tell me this, Devin. Ask yourself this question, Devin. A client comes to you who says that their kid was illegally shot by a police officer. Qualified immunity is gone now. That police officer on duty illegally shot their kid. They want you to sue. There's no qualified immunity. Who are you naming that lawsuit? Who are you naming that lawsuit? You'll name the cop and you'll name the city. And the reason you name the city is because of a doctrine of respondeat superior that you go after the employer. And let's say you got a big fat judgment there, Devin. Who do you think you can get the money from? Who's it easier to collect the money from? You can collect the money from the city or from the cop? Who's more likely to have the money? Let's do some real deep thinking on this, Devin. Legal eagle. You tell me, you shrewd legal litigation eagle. Who is it that you care about the judgment about more? The cop or the city? The cop who's working for, I don't know, $150,000 a year tops, or a city which has an unlimited budget of millions and millions of dollars. Which one of them would you rather collect from? If you get a nice $5-10 million judgment, I think it's probably the city, and you know that. So you're making it as if getting rid of qualified immunity is going to change the universe and won't change the damn thing. Because you and all the other personal injury attorneys will wisely say, yeah, it's very nice to get a judgment against the cop, but the one I really need the judgment against is the city, because they're going to come to me and they're going to pay me. So sit here with your stupid political analysis. We have to get rid of qualified immunity. At the end of the day, the city's going to end up picking up anyway. Any city will end up picking up for their cop. They're going to be forced into it. And you and every other personal injury attorney who is acting in the interest of your client is going to be chasing the city, because that's where you know the money is. So stop with your stupid BS. This is part of his fake narrative of like, oh, you see, this is what we need. We need to go after the cops. When he himself would never go after the cop. I mean, you would name them. You got the judgment against the cop. You show it to your client. Look, we got him. But then that judgment's going to be settled by the city. Everyone knows this.
Because
and he knows this better than I do because he deals with this all the time. He deals with this every day. But he's sitting here pretending that would be something. We've got to lobby Congress for this. Lobby Congress hard. This is going to change everything. Don't change not a damn thing. And he knows better than anyone else. He's a big fat liar.
The current framework for immunity for people who commit heinous crimes like these, I think it's untenable and it's disgusting. And then, of course,
I think you lying to your audience like this is untenable and disgusting.
Who are responsible for this at the very top need to be impeached. This is an impeachable offense. Like I said, I truly.
Of course. Impeachable offense. Doing what he promised to do, that he was elected to do, is an impeachable offense. Okay. This is a shrewd analysis.
Believe that this is, or some version of this is exactly what Donald Trump and Stephen Miller wanted. And in some...
Yeah, that's exactly what they wanted. They wanted the political blowback. It's so stupid. Like, this is just, like, oh my God. How dumb can you be? Seriously, how dumb can you be? I don't think he even believes this. I think he's just telling his audience what he thinks they want to hear. Bad faith actor.
Since they have gotten what they wanted, And now it's time for them to be removed from office because they are absolutely unfit from top to bottom. It needs to be removed root and stem.
You're unfit from top to bottom. Everything you're saying here. Everything you're saying here. If we were living in a world where people had to speak the truth, your channel would basically be dead in 3 minutes.
And if you thought it couldn't get any more craven than it is,
you have more to say?
Within hours of Alex Pretti's shooting, Pam Bondi sent a letter to Governor Tim Walz saying that if they would turn over voter information, then they would withdraw ICE.
That's bad faith also. That's not what she said. She didn't say she moved ICE. Never said that. Never said that she moved ICE. And she made a list of like 5 different demands as to what they had to do. It was 3, but in them, they were baked in a couple, like here's 2 or 3 baked into this one. So that's crap. You sit here. Did you read past the headline from Newsweek?
Minneapolis. So if you want a...
Did you actually read the damn letter? Did you read the letter? Because that's not what it says in the letter at all.
That this was never about immigration and that on some level this
is never about presenting law to your viewers. This is about propaganda. That's all you're doing here. You're just doing propaganda to make sure that there's another Alex Pretti as soon as possible. You don't care about that because you just made you just made $30,000 in this video.
It's about winning the next election, and that if you thought that these people couldn't get any more craven, they can, and they will, and they did.
You're a bottom feeder. That's what you are. You're a bottom feeder. Sitting there, you see a bottom, and you just munch, 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 munch.
I'm flabbergasted from everything that's happened.
I'm flabbergasted from watching this video.
That I keep coming back to is how incredible the people who are resisting are doing in the face of such adversity and how they are rising to the occasion. I believe Attorney General Bondi said that
we're not going to see you out there anytime soon.
Country was formed for respect for law enforcement. I actually think that could not be further from the truth. This country was formed by resisting and rebelling against tyranny, and that tradition.
See, he's urging them on, just like Tim Walz. Resist against tyranny. Resist against tyranny. You scum.
Is what I think people point to when they say that we engage in American activity, and we should continue to do so. I know people want to do something, and our options are limited. One thing that you can do that was recommended to me by commentator Will Stansel, who is on the ground in Minneapolis, is to donate to the Lawyers Guild of Minnesota, the ACLU of Minnesota, or Monarca of Minnesota. They
who are commie fronts, Monarca of Minnesota. Unbelievable. Literally a commie front. Tied to Act Blue. So a whole expose on Monarca. I don't have time to get into it tonight, but probably sometime later this week.
Are on the ground providing legal relief to the people who have been caught up in this terrible web, and are helping out the people who have been victimized.
See how he's got his little stupid logo in here? He probably gets a cut of whatever they get. I bet anything gets a cut of what they get. Anything. I'd be shocked. Speculation on my part, but why would you have your little logo in the center unless you're getting a cut? That's his logo here. Why would he have that in the center unless he's getting a cut? Scum.
By this reign of terror. So I'll leave some links in the description.
I'm sure you will.
For that. Yesterday was a really, really bad day, but there are...
but today is a really good day for you.
Some glimmers of hope, and it shows that that they'll come for the best of us.
Yeah, that was the thought. Let's find the best of them and come for them. That was the whole plan. You figured it out.
But that we can fight back.
That was the most disgusting video I've seen in a long time. Look at this. See? Legal Eagle link. Legal Eagle link Monarca. Legal Eagle link NLG Minnesota. These are all he gets a cut. Ways to give. Disgusting. So, yeah, the $30,000 I was estimating is a very, very low number. I mean, tack on the cut that he's getting from these donations that he's ginning up for these twisted agencies. Sickening. Sickening. Everything about that guy is sickening. That was horrible. In your legal opinion, would Omar or his security have been justified if in that split second they would have shot and unalived that guy? The question, in fact, as to whether or not you're fighting fire with fire. I think possibly, yeah. I think possibly. You have a very good self-defense case. They would have to say that they thought that he was, shooting something that was potentially lethal at her. And if so, then yeah. I mean, I think you know the answer to that as well as I do. You understand the standard, right? Standard is if there's a reasonable fear of imminent death or serious bodily harm. So defense of others would be the same as self-defense in that context. So that's a question of fact. Is this something that you would reasonably fear for death or serious bodily harm? I think you can make a strong case. Someone shooting some weird liquid out of a syringe, that's what they are perceiving that there's a danger of, in which case, yeah, shooting and killing him would be fine. It would be legally self-defense or defense of others, which is the same yardstick. So, good question. I think that's your answer. But it would ultimately be a question of fact for a jury to determine that that's a reasonable finding. That was a reasonable assumption on their part. If you were sitting on that jury, would you say that's a reasonable assumption? I think I would. So that's what I've got for you tonight. I thank you all for joining me, for participating in this chat. I should check out where curious where my poll is at. I had a poll up here and I sometimes forget. Let me check out my poll. Where are you? Where are you? I go backwards. Where are you? Where are you? I had a poll. Was that attack on Ilhan staged? 68% of you say yes, and 23% say probably not sure. That is combined 91% of you believing it was staged, with 2% saying no and 6% saying probably not, I'm unsure. Wow, that's much higher than I anticipated. All right. I thank you all for joining me. I'm going to remind you, I should be back here, God willing, tomorrow evening, roughly around 10 p.m., hopefully at 10 p.m. sharp. And until then, I'm going to urge you, please make sure you like, subscribe, drop a comment because it helps feed the algorithm. And stay away from the lab meat because it was never meant for you. It was meant for they, them. And do not eat the bugs. Don't do it. Have a good night, everyone. I thank you again. Godspeed.